Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy. Did you hear that? When I flex my elbow and I extend it, it'll, I can't do it with my left, but it often does with my right. I was just making a play on words with the spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy. That's something Mike Barra told me when I did my intro. I'm like, broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way galaxy. So he goes, no. You say the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy. That takes it even more. I go, all right, I guess we'll do the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy. By the way, stay tuned next week. I'll get back to my intro. I am already all over the place. Strictly Football with BrianEngelman and Mike Barra. That will be debuting. What is it, next week? Are we going to do next week? I think next week. Let me double check. We'll give you a time and a date on this one. I think we did 23 or 24 episodes last season, and I think we will be joined again this season by Jim Mitchell, giving us betting tips. Everything's about gambling and wagering and that whole deal. So stay tuned for that. Can I? That was terrible. I tried to make a reverse coffee drinking noise. I regret everything about trying to make the reverse coffee drinking noise. But that was me rewinding. You hear Ben? Ben, can I do the intro? We're all listening to Ben now, right? Yeah, let's get Ben into the program. Mr. Bean, as we call him, as we so nicely call him. Mr. Bean is a rescue cat from Los Angeles, California, driven across the country with his brother Astor to hang out with us here today. Mr. Bean, Ben, named after the show Lost, the leader of the others, because we named all the cats except for the other one. Well, we should name the other one. Oh, who's the leader of the others? Ben. But I call him Mr. Bean. All right, Mr. Bean. Loudmouth. Am I going to be able to do the intro to the show? Let's try it again. Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, no longer Los Angeles, California, to be pseudo-specific. My name is BrianEngelman. Today is the greatest day I've ever known. Today is August 22nd, 2025, and this right here is called the T-NAM Daily Show, right here on the new American media, because the old American media has failed you. Welcome, everybody. Belly on up to the bar, all of you regulars. The regular crowd shuffles in. Let's go ahead and turn this into a bar, shall we? Welcome. I'm Brian the bartender. Yeah, I've bartended everywhere, man. I've bartended everywhere. I've bartended a lot of places. A lot of behind-the-scenes places in Los Angeles as well. Private homes, corporate events, and damn, I mean, the Vanity Fair party at the Oscars, like multiple times. But I am a bartender, by trade. I'm not actively doing it this second, but I like to do it, and I like the interaction. I like the chit-chat. I like the fast pace. I like it. I like the energy. You are the patrons. Come on up. Grab your drink. Pretend I poured it for you. I need to start a mug club as a bartender and watching the immense success of Steven Crowder. I don't have a mug club, but I do have this, actually. I do have coasters if anybody wants some. $30. Just shoot me here, let me put it up on the screen. Where's it at? There you go. We have a tip jar, Venmo and Cash App and PayPal. Venmo Cash App is my name, BrianEngelman, and PayPal is fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com. You know what? Let me get you. I've talked about this the past couple of shows. but I haven't shown it to you. All right, this needs to be right here so I can show you. You have two options. You can either get 2 sets of coasters, shipping included, only $50. These are wooden, Ohio-made coasters, and it's helping out your boy, by the way. And if you don't know, I'm your boy. So we have them in circle shape to set your beverage upon. Perfect shape for that. Look at that. Perfect shape. Don't tread on me. But yeah, $50, and I'll send you both of these. Or if you want the pin, that's $25, shipping included. So $75, I'll send you all 3 of these. Shoot me a tip and put your address in. Or if you just want one, they're $30. Or if you just want the pin, they're $25. Just throw something in. $25 in the tip jar for a pin, $30 for 1 set of coasters, or $50 for both sets of coasters, $75 for all 3 to help your boy. Shoot me a tip. fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com is the email address linked to the PayPal. If you want something, just put your address in there. Venmo or Cash App, BrianEngelman, and I'll send that over to you. But yeah, bring your own drinks. I don't have mugs yet. But, I do have a mug in the upstairs office with the Unhappy Hour on it. We did like a test run, and I didn't really like the color combo, how it came out. Did a test run on hoodies. Didn't really like the color combo, how it came out. So I never really released them. But, I'll be trying to bring you some merch. I gotta get a merch shop. That would be a question of the day. If I had some merch, like hoodies or hats or t-shirts or mugs, other than just the coasters and pins, would anyone want anything? And if so, what do you think I should make as merch? I got this. I was given a challenge coin at an event. No, not like Mike Pence for selling out America, allegedly. Yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling very energized right now. I just had a great talk. I had a great talk with somebody just now, helping fix a technology issue. And I think in any conversation, we have the ability to, maybe listen a little bit, maybe talk a little bit, maybe say things we didn't know we were thinking. I think bartending delivers a lot of that. I think doing this show a few hours a day does that. It's great for me to just realize what it is that I'm thinking, what it is that I'm feeling, what about me is like, what's on my mind? What am I even doing? Yeah, in bartending, you talk to people, and either they're in a mood to talk or they're not. You can give them multiple opportunities. There's different ways to approach it, and sometimes people are there to, they need to vent about something. They got stuff on their mind, and we all have stuff on our mind. We're unpacking the news each day, going, "What the hell is happening?" By the way, scrolling at the bottom of the screen, make sure you're following us on Instagram, Facebook, Truth Social, Rumble, Odysee, Twitch, Kick, DLive, and YouTube. Just search The New American Media on all those platforms. Hit subscribe, hit the hearts button, hit all of the things that you need to hit. We're currently making a push on YouTube. If anybody could watch extra YouTube content, try to boost those hours up. We have 400 and something extra hours we need to get super chats enabled on our YouTube channel. And that'd be great. So it's just another tip jar where we can try to pay the bills. It's interesting. I don't know if you actually, there's a good question of the day. How do you all work? Are you retired? Are you semi-retired like Kenneth? Are you I only know that because he uses that phrase a couple times, and I've made jokes about what? Sounds like a Shane Gillis joke. Oh, I know Nick's out there looking for work, trying to figure it out. And it's like, yeah, I've really bet on myself over the past couple years. And I had the ability to, but eventually it takes a bit of a war chest to self-fund an operation for a couple of years. And so, trying to determine the best ways to make sure that we can keep the lights on and keep the mortgage paid and keep all the 75 different insurances we have to carry up to date and little extra for emergencies and paying for Ben and Aster and all that stuff. It's like we all have that. But yeah, I had a good conversation where I was just sort of unpacking because we were talking about reselling. It's a passion of mine. Um, I've always gone to garage sales with my grandparents, and that's sort of that nostalgia that you think of when you think of Cracker Barrel, spending time with your grandfather. You know, there's a little bit of that. But I like garage sales. I like finding cool things and finding great cool things at a great deal. Love finding a great deal. It's not the only thing, but it is a good thing. And you know what? It's also a fantastic thing to keep things out of the landfill, finding value where people are missing it. Or then you resell something and you know that someone that gets it, they're going to have a better time with it. And you were able to keep something. I don't know. There's just something awesome about that. But I was having the conversation while I was working on repairing a tech issue with this person. Talking about, I'm sort of at a crossroads. Do I join a media organization? Do I go work something totally unrelated for 40 hours a week and then shift this show to the mornings or the evenings? Or do I quadruple down on what I'm doing despite all the shadow banning and the censorship and, you know, YouTube with millions of views and 1,800 videos over 14 years of consistent uploads? They still just don't let you earn a living. They won't advertise on you. They won't let you pay your bills. It's like, how does anyone do this? And so in the course of that conversation, it was sort of like, well, you kind of just answered yourself right there. I'm like, did I? And I do. I have a passion for this. I do have pastors who run in the family. I got evangelists, Baptist preachers in my family that share my name. And I had Uncle Bruce Engelman, my godfather, on the program a couple weeks ago talking about the JFK assassination and other things. And he and I have talked before about evangelism. And that's not really what I do. Like I didn't go that route. Like that's not the thing that's not my path. And he's like, well, if something, God forbid, if something would have happened to your parents, I would have raised you and you would have grown up to be a pastor too. And I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have. I would have broken him. I am certain he would have tried to put me into that path. Nope. It just wasn't for me. I think spiritually, it's kind of a path that we all walk. You know, it's a bit more of a personal path, and I've been in sales for a long time. I like sales, and bartending is sales, and upselling. Every place I've worked, we have competitions, and it's like I'm right at the top. I'd work at Joe's Crab Shack, and we'd have to sell as many shakeritas as possible. Well, I had a really great pitch on why you would want to get these shakeritas and take home your shaker strainer glass, your neon one. Take it home with you. It's awesome. Yeah, you get like 2.5 drinks for the price of what, or you get 3.5 drinks for the price of one, and you get a free cut. Whatever it was exactly. It's like you condense it, you pitch it, you sell it, you go. You describe why someone might want to consider doing the thing. And then the choice is theirs ultimately, whether I'm in psychology, whether I'm as a bartender. You want a vodka Sprite? Okay. Tito's good? Or you say the thing that's like the pitch. You go, what's the highest or what's the nicest vodka? What's the best vodka? That's debatable. Everybody has a preference, but what do you charge the most for? Like, oh, Grey Goose good? You want Goose and Sprite with Grey Goose? You want the double? You want the double? Nodding the head, suggestively selling. Yeah, I mean, everything is sales, but I never really felt comfortable with the concept of selling God. And as we unpacked on yesterday's show, I'm like, well, Garden of Eden was about the bad thing was humans having knowledge. Well, it sounds like a slave master who didn't want his slaves to know how to read so that they wouldn't become a threat to them. That sounds like, help me understand that point. I wrestle with that. Original sin. If you sit down at the bar, you don't have to pay the tab of everybody that sat there before you. You're only responsible for what you do. And don't get me wrong, I've sinned, as I believe everyone has. But original sin, it's like, yeah, why am I on the hook for what? Because that whole concept is sort of where cultural Marxism comes from. If you want to peel it back a little bit, the Bible was around long before Karl Marx. And the weaponization of radioactive, divisive racial politics. That ain't any good. No good at all. But it stems from, well, there's an original sin in America. Look how it started. You like fought Indians, who, by the way, were fighting other Indians and fighting everyone else. And no, but they were indigenous. They were nomadic. They were everywhere. All of humanity's transitory until you create a nation, define the borders, and set up a groundwork of this is how we operate in this area. Nothing wrong with that. That's actually great. Yeah, but not how you like gave them smallpox. Gave them smallpox. They didn't really even have germ theory at the time. You're using a modern construct to ascribe something that most likely could not have possibly been known at the time. Maybe, but probably not, I think is the prevailing opinion. But how many of your teachers told you that? Oh, those evil white people killed all of those Indians. I mean, indigenous, despite the fact that they're nomadic. Don't think too hard about any of the stuff we tell you to think. Our education system has been completely backward for far too long. We've grown up with warped visions of what things are. Whether it's Ghislaine Maxwell's father writing the textbooks for you, or the Smithsonian focusing 100% on all the bad stuff instead of all the innovations and all the fantastic things. Just a heavy-handed beratement, casting original sin upon America for the horrors of slavery that have existed everywhere from the beginning of time. The word slave is from the Slavs, which are white people, by the way. But no credit's given for stopping slavery in Great Britain and America, despite the fact that slavery is still being practiced in Africa to this day, in the Middle East today, despite the fact that Joe Biden and the deep state Democrats have been human trafficking hundreds of thousands of fucking people for years, for decades probably, right? No, but there's an original sin that has nothing to do with anything you did, nothing to do with anything I did. But no, I need to feel shame. No. You must feel shame. Feel shame about stuff you didn't do. And bow down and repent and beg for my forgiveness. For I am a woke social justice warrior, and I have changed. I keep doing this pose. I don't know. I'm in a tight shirt, so I'm just kind of like, I'm feeling showy. We got weird neck thing again. There's a lot going on. We're going to cover the Smithsonian. We're going to talk about the unannounced visits and how the media's tried to turn this into something it's not, because it's crazy. We have a windshield that is very large. We need to focus on the direction we're headed. We have a rear view mirror and side view mirrors to occasionally take glances. We teach or we indoctrinate. America, so much sin, and it needs to be destroyed from the inside out. 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America. Okay. Barry Soetoro. From where? What did you say about you when you wrote for the Harvard Law Review? Or the editor of the Harvard Law Review? Okay. But yeah, I had the conversation, and I have a passion for this. I'm an evangelist of truth. I don't and here's another issue I have with Christianity. Let me give you this. I read a couple pages from this. It's a book I ended up with. I don't know how. Maybe the previous owners of this house or at a garage sale. I pick up anything with Bibles or whatever, and I need to list more of them on eBay. I have too much inventory, but that's another topic for another day. But I started reading this, and for example, June 6th, open to just a random page. Seek my face, and you will find fulfillment of your deepest longings. My world is filled with beautiful things. They are meant to be pointers to me, reminders of my abiding presence. The earth still declares my glory to those who have eyes that see and ears that hear. You had a darkened mind before you sought me wholeheartedly. I chose to pour my light into you so that you can be a beacon to others. There is no room for pride in this position. Your part is to reflect my glory. I am the Lord. And when you read this stuff, you go, God, it just gives off this vibe of this narcissistic, abusive, sociopathic ex-boyfriend or boyfriend, current boyfriend, or girlfriend. So I'm just thinking of Jesus as a man, but it's really bow down, worship me. Everything about your life is about me. You're going to do everything my way. I am the sole reason that the sun rises in the morning and sets in the evening. Like, and there's something about that energy that's just kind of like, I mentioned that, number one, because I picked this up, read a page, and it's been weeks since I picked it up again. I was like, oh, let me go through a few more of those. Let me see what's on, because there's some great stuff in there. But when I say I'm a truth evangelist, an evangelist of truth, number one, it's a douchey thing to say because I couldn't possibly claim to know all of the world's information. Nobody could possibly have access to all of the world's information accurately. But that's what we're trained right now, say AI, right? That's what AI is being trained to do. They're going to have all of the info, but they have massive hallucinations and they go into weird death spirals and shame spirals. So they're starting to take on human characteristics, it seems, if you think about it that way. But an evangelist of truth, I don't know what's true, and I hate that our society even briefly allowed Google, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Meta, Twitter, and the rest to try to pretend to be ministers of truth. We are the science. I am the science. I am the truth, the way, and the light, say the social media companies. They claimed to be the truth. Oh, well, Snopes said this. Yeah, well, Snopes can go suck one. Snopes, get out of here. They said harmful misinformation, harmful disinformation, while lying to us knowingly and intentionally. That should never be forgotten, never be forgiven. So when you have a Jesus character that says, I know everything, follow me, I'm the way, the truth, and the light, and you're like, well, either you are or you aren't. I've known a lot of people who think that way, and I've probably been that way myself, a little insufferable from time to time. Not saying Jesus was insufferable. I'm saying I have been insufferable because I know everything. When I was a teenager, I knew everything. By the way, how many missing years are there for Jesus Christ? Like 11 years? Something like from 20 to 31 or from 21 to 33 or something like that. He goes missing. Not really all that documented. But when I was in those years, those formative years, those post-teen college years, oh God, I knew everything. I knew everything. In fact, I probably quoted John Bolton a couple of times because I knew everything. But the older I get, the more I realize. Let me try that. The older I get, the more I realize that I don't know shit. But I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm trying real hard, Ringo. Question of the day, what's that from? I'm trying. I'm trying real hard, Ringo. And in this conversation I had with this person while we were trying to fix the tech issue, I was reminded of my conversation with John McAfee, where I said, John, I don't know what happens when I leave this experience entirely. I am a Christian, so I have a belief system, but we won't know until we get there. But if there's a maker on the other side, and if I have to answer for my actions on this planet, I want to be able to look that maker in the eye and say, I tried. I tried. And that's what the new American media has been about. I'm trying to find the truth. I'm not claiming to have it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I correct myself. We correct each other. John Boy down there in Texas calls me well, he pointed out after I said it, but that I'm a teacher. Class is in session. It's like a running gag. By the way, make sure you're subscribed on YouTube or on X at American_media_ and follow John. He tweets out images for the show. Did another one today with John Bolton. In the comments, John, Blake was asking, what do you mean by the mustache remark? Can you describe what that means? Is that prison slang? But I'm not going to look at you and tell you that I have every answer. I'm going to tell you that I'm going to honestly make an effort to try to share things that I believe to be accurate. I will double check things that I have suspicions on. And if anything slips through the cracks and I'm just, did you know about this thing that happened? And if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. Show me a clip. Send me a link. Let me see that, oh, well, shit, I've had that story wrong a long time. And there's some stories I got to look up almost every time I talk about them. I go, I know I looked this up. I think I debunked it. It's okay. Our hearts are in the right place. And we're trying, which is better than hiding under a rock, hiding in the basement, hiding in the bushes. The question has arisen. He has arisen. He has risen. The question arose. Like Amber Rose? A Rose? No. Not like that. Why did my weird liberal voice sound like a Kenneth joke? A Rose? Like Amber Rose? The lady with the tattooed forehead and the big boobies? No. A Rose. How about arisen? He has risen. There we go. The question came up while I was trying to fix this tech issue. By the way, hit like, hit subscribe, copy the show, share it to a couple of your friends, and say, hey, we're getting ready to unpack the news here. Jump into the comment section. We're all gonna send the show out on X or a text message to just 2 or 3 of your smart friends. Go, hey, check out this show. We unpack the news each day. But the question came up, like, do you ever, are you concerned like that you would become a target? And I'm like, for speaking out, I'm like, I've been demonetized. I can't earn a living doing it. I haven't figured out how to break through the algorithm. We rely on donations. I don't know how the 70 social media voices that have broken through, I don't know how they have done it exactly. I don't know if they're being given a script and they have handlers now because they got the big money, but you got to kind of stay in line. And even the big dogs, everybody's got a boss. Everybody has a boss, they say. But so I started answering the question. I'm like, yeah, Google hates me. I was making money on Google, paying bills, going, okay, I see it. If I triple the amount of shows that I put out, this can be my full-time job. I won't have to work in sales. I won't have to bartend. I won't have to do this or do that or work in property management. I've done a lot of things, as many people have, to pay the bills. But I'd prefer just focusing on this, but the math has to math. So I said, yeah, I definitely feel targeted. Facebook depersoned me, deleted my company page, won't even show the thousands of people in my groups when I post things. Like what am I even doing? why am I wasting it? It's everything I'm doing feels completely shadow banned. Oh, yeah, it's connected. Oh, yeah, it's streaming. Nobody's seeing it. When I say nobody, like y'all are not nobodies. Let me put the chat up on the side, by the way. Hi, everybody. All the regular crowd shuffles in. But do I ever feel targeted? You're damn right I feel targeted. I'm pretty pissed off about it. Many groups were disabled after spending 10 fucking years building them on Facebook. Deleted. Company page, thousands of followers, deleted. Can't monetize Facebook or Instagram for some reason. YouTube stole monetization from me years ago. So yeah, I'm on X. X feels like a platform where I can express my, but you know what? I have to pay to be on X. I'm not monetized. Oh, you got to have 50 billion quadrillion impressions last month to qualify for monetization. Awesome. Thanks, X. I'm glad I get to pay you $8 a month for the privilege of not being able to monetize my content. And when I do post things, I'm not getting the reach and the numbers that I would like because I don't know how to break through this algorithm. All right. Glad I'm paying for this. But at least it's a platform. So I'm doing it. Rumble's cool. Rumble's like the old YouTube before Google destroyed it. Kind of like how Cracker Barrel was cool until that woke lady destroyed it. We'll talk about that. Talk about it again. The memes are starting to come out and they're getting good. But yeah, you're damn right. I've felt attacked, and I'd be doing interviews with high profile people on the Agree to Disagree show, the TNAM Daily Show, the New American Media, and connections would drop. Lines would go silent. You'd hear the click on and click off where people are listening. Oh, Brian, you're just being paranoid, Emma. Because you used to tell me that 15 years ago, but you're not really hearing that anymore. They've literally jumped the shark on every issue you thought, oh, they'd never do that. See the vaccine mandates and the lockdowns. See the potentially intentional lab release out of Wuhan, China, directed by Anthony Fauci, potentially. No, only Alex Jones being crazy up there doing an investigative report. Nobody believes that. Yeah, your slanders and slurs used to work, but we're not buying your bullshit anymore. So yeah, the question came up, like, do you feel like you're making yourself a target? I'm like, you're damn right I do. And I do resent it. I resent that when you try to find my interview with Larry Elder about the breakdown of the Black community as he discusses from the contents of the book that he wrote, you can't find it. Half the time, you can't even find it. Try to find my John McAfee interview about the Vault 7 data dump. What was the title of it? The CIA just got nuked. Yeah, well, the CIA's been nuking American citizens as traitors for how many decades now? It's all hitting the fan now, but for how fucking long have they been destroying this country? Oh, no. They're just here to make sure America's great. Oh, really? Really? Then explain all of it. Explain all of it. Explain all of it. The agencies that were funded in the 40s, right around the time other things were funded. Let's go back further. Talk about 1913. Why in fuck are we giving away the ability to monitor and handle our own currency? Who the fuck? What the fuck? The Federal Reserve group of private banksters is in charge of our money. Well, at least they're going to be professionals about it and they'll be good stewards and make sure it retains value. Retains value? They confiscated our gold. Our money used to be redeemable for gold and silver. Now it's just fucking trash. Your $500,000 house is a $110,000 house. Everything is insane right now with the prices because they've intentionally destroyed our currency. And if you can't keep taking massive jumps up in your earnings, you can't keep up. That's not a good steward of our economy. That's a fucking pirate. That is a marauding Viking. So yeah, you could say I've felt maybe personally attacked and a lot of that. You could say that. You could say that. So it was a good conversation, but when that comment came up that, well, I think you just answered your own question if you want to do this or that or that or that because I'm at a crossroads. I got to figure out like it's game time. The version of me that you met uh was the version that went all in on himself. And the next phase is going to be a recalibration of things. You can acquire and assemble a war chest of resources, and when that drains, you got to make different decisions. So one of those decisions this year has been to do a daily show. And so thank you to everybody who's been supportive and joining the daily show. It hasn't grown fast enough to cover the bills, so I got to make another plan. Okay. Doesn't mean I'm not going. It does. And that just means with another plan, I'm going to have to figure out another plan. But then the other question came up in a different conversation. Well, what happens when you're Googled? How many opportunities are you being erased from immediately because now you're so prominently out there with your opinions that are not friendly to the deep state? How many opportunities have you instantly cut off from yourself because you're so public? Well, that was always a concern. That was always a worry. But when my nation was sinking, and I saw this 14 years ago when I started the New American Media, we were in deep shit with Obama, not just because of Obama. It's so much bigger than that. But all of it, the totalitarian hellscape that we're headed toward. Sometimes you think, yeah, the Amish and the off-grid and the earth shippers, like these people have got it figured out. They're disconnected from the nonsense. That's a pretty powerful concept. I just watched a movie. What was that? Or it was a TV show clip. It was about fuck you money. Greatest TTL. That's funny. Greatest TTL. Who is this? Is this someone I know? Testing the emergency broad. You follow interesting people. McNeil, Blake Wally, authorized to act on behalf of my will and mine to claim is claim to mine. All right. Do I know you, greatest TTL? I saw you in the group yesterday. Or are you like a secondary account of someone I already know? But yeah, now I'm out there, and that's always been a concern. When I peeled back, I've peeled back and I've jumped forward a couple of times. I've worked, as I said, property management, catering, bartending, sales. I've done a lot of stuff while doing the New American Media. But for the past couple of years, I've been pretty much all in on the New American Media because it matters. And to me, I if I could get flashy thinged, Scott Adams was talking about this yesterday in regard to race relations and the Smithsonian conversation that we're having. Are we trying to make our country look good, or are we trying to make ourselves be the worst of the worst, like pure trash that needs to be destroyed? Come on, no, it's obvious. But Scott Adams was like, it would be so much better for people. The advice that he gives, and he can say it himself, but it's a version of look through the windshield, not the rearview mirror. Like you're only harming yourself. It would be so much better for the Black community who hundreds of years ago had to suffer through slavery like so many other groups have had to suffer through, and so many groups are currently suffering through today. How many Asians are currently slaves making your iPhones and your Nikes? How many slaves are giving you massages, maybe a happy ending in Vegas? meeting up with you on one of those dating apps, but it's not really a date. It's just it's a hookup. It's sex. It's sex work. Hmm? How many slaves are there in the Middle East and in Africa right now? Open air market being sold. How many children are being sold off as brides in India or Pakistan or uh, Iraq, or pick your place. Pick your place. Yeah, there's a lot of slavery still happening, and there's been a lot of slavery the whole time. And by the way, aren't we all slaves to a bunch of banksters who think they're better than us, who think they own us, like we're their goddamned property? Well, I better not get too spicy. Who are we talking about with these banksters who think that we are their slaves, their property? They own us, they control us. Can you hear Nimbus purring? He's very happy to be here right now. Yeah, I don't want to be a slave, and I don't want to end up in a totalitarian hellscape. That's why I created the New American Media 14 and a half years ago. That's why I do the TNAM Daily Show. That's why I do agree to disagree. It's why I adopt kitties. Hi, buddy. That's why I do what I do, and I'm passionate about it, and I love it. And that's why we're going to give you a show today. We're going to talk about John Bolton getting arrested. By the way, in what universe is Trump winning a $500 million appeal of Letitia James's Lawfare not the number one story? I think the John Bolton raid could be important. David Bann, question: is this the first of many arrests? They went after John fucking Bolton. This guy was at high levels for moments. He's been exposed, and he's been a deep state propagandist, warmonger for a long time. The John Bolton raid? David, everyone, is it possible that the arrests have finally begun? In what universe is this not the main story? It is. It's amongst a bunch that we're going to discuss on today's program. So without further delay, thank you for that opening salvo. I had a lot of thoughts to unpack, and as I've mentioned on these shows previously, all this shit's connected. It's all connected. It's just a matter of kind of connecting the right puzzle pieces and making sense of it, you know? It's not the easiest thing to do. But anyway, I did mention the places to follow us at the New American Media. Get us on X at American_Media_. We're on Telegram and Signal at TNAM and TNAM Chat. The podcast is the Agree to Disagree Show on Spotify and Apple. And so, with that, let's launch today's program. The TNAM Daily Show, a division of the Agree to Disagree Show on the New American Media. Let's go.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.
All right, everybody. Let's see through your comments. Marion Cook, howdy. Exciting topics for today. Yes, topics indeed. John BrianEngelman, howdy. Look at the early birds. Yeah, I set up the show. Nothing worked. First, I had a restream problem, and now I had an internet problem. So it's been fun. You know, and this is the shit that I have to conquer on a daily basis. Is it still worth my time? Is it still worth my energy? I can't tell you what it does to me when the technology fails and when you run into these glitches and all that. Just, I do what I do. I pontificate, I deliver the show, I connect the dots, we bring you together, like fine. I hate doing the technology. I want to be with the team. They can kind of do what they do, focus on what they do, which is take the show, put it into the segments, do the Opus clip thing, post it on this, post it there, set up the interview, like coordinate, produce the. I don't want to do all that shit. I am so tired of doing all that stuff. On the other hand, I love it, sort of, when it works. I am barely holding it together, juggling chainsaws and apples, making sure I grab the right things and don't let the other things spin too much. I'm juggling chainsaws and apples. And I do like putting on this show, but you know what I don't like? I don't like when it doesn't work, and it melts me down. It really just steals my joy. And there have been so many times over the years that I haven't enjoyed doing the show because not enough people are seeing it. How many hours of my life, how many hours of each day do I need to dedicate to something that's not getting the millions of views that I wish it would? Maybe I need to do better. Maybe I need to do different stuff. I don't know. I don't know how the top 100 voices are able to do it. I don't know what their teams know that I'm not doing. I don't know. But I know I like doing the part that I'm good at. I do consider the New American Media to be a 14-year beta test. So we'll see how it goes from here. But yeah, a lot to unpack. Where's Mr. Bean? Oh, yeah, you saw Mr. Bean. We brought him up. All right. Yeah. Hello, Kenneth. Hello, John Boy. Hello, Marion. Everybody. David. Yes, making it an international program. Our buddy up there in Canada. I mentioned PayPal. On the streets, it's, hey, pal, hand over your wallet. Oh, see, that started off nice. It's like, hey, pal, hand over your wallet. That got dark quick. Kenneth suggests maybe I should create in our merch store a T-Nam bong. I do have a hookah. I have 2 hookahs for sale. I have one for sale. And it's pieces, it's hookah parts. It's like the whole thing and the thing, but you need to like finish anyone that knows how to do it would do it. It's on the eBay store. Do any of you eBay? Do you know that I have a store there? Which reminds me, I got to sort one more thing out. Current Brian is writing a note to future Brian. T-Nam lighter. I could get down with that. What kind of lighter? When I had Adam Kokesh on a couple months ago, I grabbed the Freedom lighter. And he had a Freedom lighter. It was the book that he wrote, and I showed him. I'm like, I still have this. I still have this thing from, I think we ran into in LA at something. And I did events with Adam speaking on LA City Hall steps about the homeless issue. Well before it was a cool thing to talk about. He and I were screaming about it. Dean as well. Yeah, a lighter. Would you want a Bic lighter or like a Zippo? Oh, shit. Engraved Zippos. I wonder if there's the engraving is going to be $40 or 50, 56. I don't even know how much it is to engrave things anymore. Things Remembered. Is that still a place? Yes, David, we all saw about the raid on John Bolton's house. We are going to get to it for sure. Kenneth is semi-retired, but still all man. Semi, but all man. David is raising kids. How many kids? 3? You take to school? I know you do that. Marion whistles while she works. Uh-oh, better not finish that or else I'm going to get... Seriously, I had 2 contents. Excuse me. I had 2 shows removed because I had like 7-second clips of something with the WWE in it. The WWE deleted 2 of my fucking videos because I shared a tiny clip of a meme. And I sent them a direct message today. I'm like, guys, what are you doing? I'm not restreaming SummerSlam, taking money out of your wallets. I shared a fucking meme on I did a marathon, 5.5-hour show. Remembering the 80s, the Hulk Hogan, Ozzy Osbourne, and Malcolm Jamal Warner. By the way, there's an update. Maybe Hulk Hogan died of medical malpractice? Or worse? That story's evolving. But yeah, it's so weird. I just sent WWE a message. I'm like, come on. WWE don't approve. Yes, we don't approve. Marion says, she listens while she works, not whistles while she works. I know. Kenneth, yep, part-time. Oh, part-time at HD. Is that the depot? John says, same as above. You work part-time at Home Depot? Or Hard Drive, HD? Howard Dosell. No, I think he says he listens at work like Marion. Kenneth met a girl from the Crab Shack. Gave him some crabs at a discount. Oh, there's a lot of that out there. Oh, I bartended a couple places. There's a lot of stuff that goes around out there. Ugh. So I always liked being behind the bar. You know, you kind of had a nice buffer zone between all the stuff. But I used to get discount seafood when I worked at Joe's Crab Shack. I don't know, half off or something? 40% off, half off? So I did actually used to get discount crabs. Yeah, Kenneth, about all that indoctrination from the teachers to make you hate yourself. Now repeat back the whole woke BS I just taught you, Johnny. And that's really the wimpy whites. The wimpy whites repeat back what their authority figures have lied to them about. And they don't critically examine the logic of, hold on, that doesn't make sense. And I don't agree with that. I'm not saying that. Just like how, like, oh, well, you would have been a pastor if you were raised in my household. I'm like, I couldn't imagine a scenario where that would have occurred. I appreciate your gusto. I'm too contrarian, and I always have been. And it's not just disagreeable for disagreeableness sake. There's a lot. Reading a comment about the coincidence that Bolton's home was raided on the day that some of the Epstein files are due to finally be released to Congress. Is this the lawfare I keep hearing about? Yeah. Oh, it's about to get spicy, everybody. Yeah, sorry about that. I was in the middle, like I was unpacking a lot of thoughts, and I think I did think to add the comments on the side multiple times. But I was really like trying to replay a conversation I just had and connecting it with the news, and my head wasn't there. If I had a producer in my ear, they'd go, all right, wrap, go to the first show. Okay. See, I say how nice it would be to have a producer and have a team, but I know I'd just complain about them if I had them. So it is nice to just be able to do your own thing. That's for sure. David saying, we've heard enough of their lies. 100%. Thumbs up. Agreement. No sound. Kenneth, why are you not having sound? Sound's back. Great STTL. What does greatest TTL mean? What does that stand for? Says, I think they just don't want people using their platforms for their point of view. And so if you want to have your own point of view on their platform, they want you to buy advertising. And when you put financial barriers between people and their rights, that's wrong and that's illegal. You say, oh, they're a private company. They get to do whatever they want. No, they're not. No, they're not. It's a misinterpretation of Section 230. Section 230 says that you can't have the protections of a platform just saying, hey, we're the telephone company. You can't hold me responsible for what that guy says to that guy. Hey, so I says to the guy, social media companies, Meta, Google, X, or Twitter, they're like, we're just a platform. We're just a platform. But then they censor and they try to charge more to reach your own followers for opinions they don't like, which makes them a publisher. And if you're a publisher, you are liable for the shit that you're publishing. But they're still having their cake and eating it too. For the life of me, I can't understand why we haven't cracked the egg on that. Cracked the code. That's probably what I was aiming for on that point there. How have we not cracked the code? Tell me why. So yeah, I'm sure they are trying to charge more, but you can't put exorbitant fees onto people to have a Second Amendment. Well, sure, you can have a gun, but you got to go through all this licensing procedure. My license, I got a Second Amendment, man. And yeah, we should have a license to drive and we should know how to operate firearms for sure, but well, you just got to get this permit. That'll just be $1,500. I'm sorry, did you say $1,500? So they can try to price you out of your liberties. So I think the right to use social media is an enshrined liberty. That's the town hall. That's the public town square where we have the freedom to express ourselves. And if these places want to act like publishers and eliminate dissenting thought for their deep state bullshit while they continue to try to rob and enslave us, okay, well, you're now a publisher. And you're liable for all of the fraudulent stuff that you're putting out there consistently while you're claiming to be a fact checker. Trust me, for I knoweth all of the informationeth. For I am Google. For I am the deep state. For I am Meta. For I am AI, your new god. Nope. You fact checkers gave us so much fraudulent stuff. Yeah, they didn't jump the shark. They humped it too. David saying it's crazy how in government they talk about the Federal Reserve. Yeah. Private company running our money supply. It's not federal and it has no reserve. Yeah. We're talking about Cracker Barrel. They got rid of the barrel and the cracker. It's nuts. Is everyone stupid in the government? They're all playing along. They're all well paid. Should I even ask that question? No, not really. Why is the game of illusion still being played about the Federal Reserve? I don't know. I mean, either the United States is just a subsidiary of, who? The reptilians, Israel, the Rothschilds, the Illuminati. I don't know. Either the United States is all fake. It's all just fake. We're all just slaves, and there's one or two people pulling puppet strings, and they have everything. And ask 10 different people, they might give you 10 different groups that are running everything. Or not. If we're a sovereign nation, let's take our damn money supply back. Why are we groveling and begging Jerome fucking Powell to lower the interest rate so everybody can lower their mortgage cost? Raise your hand if you recently modified a loan or purchased a loan and had to double your fucking interest rate, which means you're grabbing $400 each month, flushing it down the fucking toilet to slave masters, banksters who just own you. Because, yep, now your interest rate's like 7 or something, 8, 7 point something. Yeah, I know it used to be 3.5, but we can shake you by the ankles and take a little bit more. Sounds like a revolt of the slaves might be needed. Maybe that Smithsonian exhibit should include the banksters who consider us to be their slaves. Who are those banksters? Well, they're not federal, right? They're private. I know, we had Mr. Bean and Nimbus in the whole first part of the show. Will Hillary pay John Bolton a visit in prison? Well, we'll see if they get to prison. John saying, no worries, you make it worthwhile, New American Media. Well, thanks. I try to. We're all doing the same thing. We're all trying to figure out what's happening, and we all want to talk about the biggest stories. So, John eBays. Kenneth has bought off eBays. Yeah, you can. I have a YouTube channel, Picking Winners Resale. Just started it, just doing shorts. It's fun, and I need to list more things. I spend half my day, more than half my day, researching, delivering this show, uploading, doing all the maintenance on all the 30 different accounts, and I steal my time to make money listing things on eBay or working full-time for somebody else or having a client or working part-time and 2 part-times or doing that. I've done it all. I have definitely been stealing my earning potential from me by putting 5-6 hours a day into this full-time that just, hasn't been generating the revenue that I would need. So yeah, talk about merchandise. T-shirts like no trespassing. T-shirts like all rights reserved. T-shirts like everything in probate. If you're in probate long enough, it feels like everything in prostate. Make it refillable. What? The cup? Your future selves did not build that deficit. Hey, there you go. Kind of saying Hulk was likely offed. For supporting Trump or from just from negligence? Not Home Depot, Deport Depot. It sort of has turned into that, the parking lots, huh? They're saying we have 55 million people in America on visas, and our country's 350 million people. 1/7 of America are non-Americans, on top of the 40 million that Joe Biden and Barack Hussein Obama snuck in with Mayorkas and Harris. What? That can't be true, is it? That's 100,000 out of 1/3 of America are non-Americans. And it's hard to trust statistics anywhere you're getting, but oh my God. Because you have to ask, who in their right minds would ever vote Democrat? Does anybody with a mind vote Democrat? I understand what they used to stand for. They used to kind of just be liberal and kind of just live and let live. They are the totalitarian feminazis now. Oh boy, have they shifted. You know how people say, oh, well, it's not that the Republicans are the party of anti. See, the party shifted. They love to say, oh, the party shifted. We were always the good guys. And then we shifted. Well, what the hell did you shift to now? Over the past 20 years, Democrats. What the hell have you shifted to now? Something nobody likes. Greatest TTL says licensing is important because the handyman that just got out of prison really does not know how to run the nuclear plant. Yeah, I get that. I get that to some degree. You should understand how to operate a car if you're going to drive a car. Hence, all the people that are being flooded into this nation from parts unknown to drive on our roadways, they are failing 3 out of 4. What was it? 3 out of 4 and 12 out of 15 sign recognition and English comprehension answers on their test. And they're driving big rig tractor trailers and killing Americans with their fucking stupidity and their ignorance you're not qualified to handle it. I get it. You should have some qualifications. That'd be nice. With firearms, you should know how to use it. And yeah, the first thing I did when I got my first one was, can I take a lesson? I don't want to screw this up. We should all have some level of experience like that. Oh, I get a certain degree of that, but I think it's all gone pretty wonky. Greatest TTL says, or because they require licensing, commercial properties or the insurance company will not pay out. Oh, there's that too. So we have that, but it is worthless if the appraiser doesn't honor the declarations. I mean, there's so much. Look at the Palisades, look at East Palestine, anything with Pala. Hurricane Helene. It's nuts. Greatest says, I was an education specialist for eBay when it first started. Oh, wow. Yeah, but I do have a channel called Picking Winners, if you want to subscribe to that on YouTube. But yeah, I think it's called Picking Winners Resale, and that is the name of the eBay channel. You could scroll. You could buy some stuff. How about that? How about we'll make a challenge today? Scroll through our eBay store and see if there's anything you want. And if there's anything at a price, but not a price you're interested in, make an offer. I don't really talk about that, but that is like one of the funding mechanisms and it's like each 90 days, if I list more, I'll sell more. That's one of the taglines of that channel. Trying to get more people to do reselling. All right, let's jump to our Instagram page and start unpacking the news. We posted this yesterday. There you go. Cracker Barrel went to Cracker Barrel. Ooh. Do you know what that's from? It's the Seinfeld episode, and it's a good one. It's like in certain lighting conditions, she was gorgeous. And in other lighting conditions, ugh. Do you ever encounter that? You ever deal with that? Yeah, here's how conservative. These are some of the posts on our Instagram feed. Make sure you're following us. I share you our stories daily, or reels, or whatever the hell they're called. Highlights. I can't keep track. I don't know what they're called. But here's the ways conservatives deny people their right to vote. Here you go. They're requiring ID. Over here, you must be alive. Oh, that is denying their right to vote. What about this? You must not vote more than once. Oh my gosh, Republicans are denying people their right to vote. And right here, oh my gosh, they're requiring that citizens vote. Oh, it's just, oh, the humanity. And yes, Cracker Barrel has gone by the way of the Washington Redskins, Cleveland Indians, Land O'Lakes Girl, Aunt Jemima, and Uncle Ben. And we just ask, can we just let's bring everything back? Do you agree or disagree? So check that out on our Instagram feed. All right. Got to mute this because of stupid piano music. A foreign investor has snapped up 9 Malibu lots after the wildfires. Why are we allowing foreigners to buy California? Why? That's our fucking country on the coastline, and they're only making so much of it. A foreign investor quietly purchased 9 prime oceanfront lots in Malibu for $65 million. According to Realtor.com, the investor built a team of expediters and architects to scout out properties that weren't even on the market. Many owners, burdened by the long rebuilding process, reluctantly sold despite deep sentimental ties to the land. Critics say this is another case of opportunistic buying where tragedy turns into profit for those with deep pockets. Communities burn, investors cash in. Could this foreign investor also be BlackRock? Another comment, everyone knew this was coming the second it happened. And our governor is a big part of the problem. Stay tuned. Terrible. What was the update on this shooter? Active shooter at Virginia is VU. Oh no, Villanova University in Pennsylvania. The shooting reportedly began during Villanova's first-year student mass. Oh, during mass. So it's a hate crime against Christians? Is that what it was? Is Villanova a Christian school? Update on the deets of the Villanova shooting. Let's see what the latest is. Active shooter alert, later determined to be a cruel hoax. Anonymous report of active shooter, at least one person injured. Alert issued during orientation mass for new students, instructing campus to move to a secure location, lock and barricade doors. Caused widespread panic with students and families rushing to shelter in nearby buildings, some barricading doors in classrooms and doors. What a shitty thing to do to people. All the parents who don't want to let their kids go anyway, and you're going to do that shit to them. All right. Cruel hoax, swatting investigation. Okay. This was the second such hoax at a U.S. college that day, following a false active shooter report at University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. Swatting has been a growing issue, with over 800 incidents recorded at U.S. schools from January 23 to June 24. Well, shit. So it was the second school shooting hoax of the year. Well, glad nothing could have been worse. Could have been real. So I hate the people that did that. Also, I'm glad it wasn't real. All right. AJ Gentile, the creator behind the popular Y-Files YouTube channel, talks about one of the strangest buildings in New York, also explains how James Clapper did what to Congress, and what about Edward Snowden?
The weirdest building you'll ever see.
The what building?
AT&T Long Lines building, 33 Thomas Street, New York. It has no windows, just has exhaust vents, no lights. This is one of the facilities capturing all of our phone calls, which the Patriot Act allows.
Oh, man.
Well, it's just metadata. Metadata includes who you're calling, where they are, your location. You could be totally tracked. If you're a person of interest, anyone you communicate with is automatically a person of interest. Whenever I can, I just play James Clapper line at Congress when he's asked, can you confirm that NSA is not capturing hundreds of millions of Americans' records? And he says,
perhaps, but not wittingly.
Eventually had to apologize because the Snowden documents revealed they're capturing everything, not just metadata. NSA was embedded inside of Google and Yahoo and Microsoft. The engineers are so excited we finally got into Google. But the point is, do not trust them. They're constantly lying to us, and there's no regard to the Constitution at all. It's the weirdest building you'll ever see.
The what building?
AT&T Long Lines building, 33 Thomas Street, New York. It has
AT&T Long Lines building. Were you familiar with that building? Our comment was that we need to reclaim America from these eavesdroppers ASAP. Soy Boy Destroyer says World Economic Forum's Yuval Noah Harari is telling you what the so-called elite have planned for the future, and it's not good. Don't say you weren't warned. They are very open with their plans.
One of the biggest things happening in the world right now is a shift in authority from humans to algorithms, to AI. Now, increasingly, this decision about you, about your life, is done by an AI. One of the biggest dangers with this new technology is that, a lot of jobs will disappear. So the biggest question in the job market would be whether you are able to retrain yourself to fill the new job, and whether the government is able to create this vast educational system to retrain the population. People will need to retrain themselves, or if they can't do it, then if you can't do it, the danger is you fall down to a new class, not unemployed, but unemployable, the useless class. People who don't have any skills that the new economy needs. One of the biggest things.
The new useless class will be created by the AI age. Okay, awesome. All right. Kenneth says it was an intentional land grab. Oi, with the lighting. I love when our lurkers jump in and have stuff to say. A hoax? How unholy. Not that you're lurking. You comment a lot, but good to see you. But you jumped in right when we talked about a hoax. Like, that's my name. John Jacob Unholy Hoax Schmidt. That's my name too. Hello, Chris. Down in San Antonio. Happy to have you here. It's always better with you here. It's always better with all of you here. All right, so check this out. Real News Just Facts says a biotech CEO is taking Uber to court after an illegal alien invader driver was caught on camera violently assaulting him in downtown Charleston, South Carolina. So are they saying that this Uber was using an illegal alien driver? This guy suffers a concussion after the Uber driver, who was an illegal Russian national named Uli Umazihayev Vadim Nikolaevich. The fuck? We'll call him UVN. I got nothing on that. Sorry. UVN, 42 years old, attacked this dude in a parking lot. Arrested and released on a $10,000 bond for second-degree assault and battery. Later placed on an immigration hold after being detained by ICE. Yeah, every single precinct that arrests people, every single place. The very first thing to do when you're arrested should be to check to see if you're in this country illegally, and if so, handed to ICE. You don't get to be here if you're fucking around. And if you're here illegally, you're fucking around. And if you just got arrested, that's a doozy. That's a double. You ain't supposed to be here, and you sure as shit shouldn't be committing crimes while you're here. Georgia. Okay. Charleston County Sheriff's Office. When Nikolaevich refused to allow the pet, Kobel then asked to cancel the ride. Surveillance footage shows Nikolaevich getting out of an Audi SUV, grabbing Kobel by the throat and headbutting and punching him, knocking him unconscious, and with his dog to the ground. Dude, sent the dog sprawling. Guy's unconscious. And the dog went over by where the wheels were, almost ran him over. Asshole. Headbutt and a punch. Fuck you, buddy. Go right to ICE. Do not collect $200. Do not pass go. That guy got his license plate, thankfully. Just imagine the gall of sneaking into the USA illegally and laying your filthy mitts on an American. Goodbye, dude. Jail, then deportation isn't good enough for you. Bye. Yep, that does not add to our society. The guy's already out of the car. And he's knocked out. The car doors are closed. Totally unnecessary. That guy needs to go away. This post here, Operation Butthurt. It's a good account. It says 27. Can I copy this? Let's ask Grok. Did 27 judges vote? Did I say judges? Against banning indecent exposure for drag. Sorry, you can't see this whole. There we go. Where are these judges? Let's find out it on X. No, there's no evidence. What is it? 27. Where's that screen? Colorado Dems, I meant to type. Sorry, I knew I said the wrong thing, typed the wrong thing. Did 27, yes, in 2023, 27 lawmakers in Colorado House of Representatives voted against HB 23-1135, a bill that would increase penalties for indecent exposure in view of a minor from a Class 1 misdemeanor to a Class 6 felony. Some Democrats, including Representative Leslie Herod, opposed the bill due to concerns it could be used to target drag shows or transgender individuals. Though the bill did not explicitly mention drag performances, it passed with amendments and unanimous Republican support and was signed into law. So 27 Colorado Dems voted against making indecent exposure to minors a felony, citing a concern that the law could ban drag shows for kids. What an odd thing to say. That Simpsons moment of what an odd thing to say is classic. So those are the Democrats. They think it's cool for like indecent exposure. The rest of us, nah. That's why we don't vote Democrat. Never will. We know who they are. Got to mute this, but hey, here's Sydney Sweeney's agents fielding calls to save Cracker Barrel. Could you imagine if Sydney Sweeney came in to fix that broken franchise? Not sure even Sweeney could help this mess. That is pretty funny, though. All right, this just in. People are happy. People are posing for photos with the National Guard on the National Mall. It's absolutely epic. It turns out Americans are actually very appreciative of what the president did securing D.C. Media lied again. The military is back and appreciated. Sorry, America. There you go. There's a lot of people that like what's happening. Some that don't. They might be panicans. They might just be libertarians. But so my libertarian buddies are not so happy, and they repeat the fake news all the time to me. And I'm like, where the fuck are you getting your sources? Like, well, you know, it's destroyed all the business, like the restaurants, or they're so down. I'm like, they're comparing it to a weekend with a food, what was it called? A food festival, and a weekend without a food festival. Like it's deceptive. Like, why are you repeating such a bad talking point? You're comparing apples to typewriters. Do they restaurant Steak and Shake just called out Cracker Barrel for eliminating their personality and heritage in their new logo, saying, quote, "We will never market ourselves away from our past in a cheap effort to gain the approval of trend seekers. I stand with Steak and Shake." Steak and Shake bringing us beef tallow French fries. Now a defense of personality and heritage. We're going to have to go eat there and support them. What do you think? Have you eaten at a Steak and Shake in a while? It's been a while for me because I just couldn't have employees. Like the amount of times I've walked in and there's no employees, or you got to go back and make your own food, or same with Waffle House. Like it's tough to get labor, and I'm gonna go back. They're doing beef tallow with their fries. Although my concern is that the type of beef tallow that they're using could be bad, but they seem to be trying. Steak and Shake seems to be trying, which I appreciate. All right, here's Jeff Dye talking with Joe Rogan about slavery. I touched on this in the intro.
Everyone wants to talk about slavery that we abolished in this country, but not the current slavery that made this, or my shoes, or all the things you wear, or how about the sex trafficking? How about the women that are slaves right now?
Like, you can't do it on this patch of dirt, but if you just move it to that patch of dirt, now you can do unethical things.
Now it's fine.
That's what Obama did with rendition, outsourcing his torture to Northern Africa. Look it up.
It's so hypocritical when I hear like LeBron talk about slavery that happened in our country over 100 years ago while he's dripping in Nike. How dumb can you be?
150 years ago, by the way, the 1880s to the 2025s, like that's 150 years ago.
Pretend to care about slavery while you're making, $1 billion or something? I just think there's honest money and then there's dishonest money.
You like the money they paid the people to endorse Kamala Harris?
Oh, yeah, that's
what
pretty dishonest money right there.
So
Cardi
wild.
B, Beyonce. Everyone wants to talk about slavery.
Yep, that's well articulated. Jeff Dye, go see him. He's a professional comedian. Saw him once. God, when was that? Within the past year, and then once last year in Nashville at the Bobby Kennedy event. Yeah, go woke, go broke, indeed, David Ban. Wait, your vibe was hurt on what? What hurt the vibe? Not me? Kenneth is my vibe check. All right, Joey Manarino here says, I just learned that there are 55 million people in the United States of America on visas. That is absolutely ridiculous. Why can't you see that? There you go. Even 5 million would be a lot. 55 million is literally the population of Albania, Croatia, Lithuania, Slovenia, Estonia, Serbia, and Finland too. Denmark, Slovakia, Norway, Hungary, and Georgia combined. How the hell is that even possible that there's 55 million people in the United States on visas? One-seventh of America aren't American? Question mark? This is Kendra Briggs. What are her qualifications? Actually, I'm going to put that in the comment right now. What are Kendra Briggs's qualifications to hold this position? The monsters who almost took the life of Big Balls should have never been let out on bail. Period. Nick Sorter reporting Biden Judge Kendra Briggs, who has just ordered the release of the youths who attempted to murder Big Balls in the streets of D.C. Here's the picture. I'm covered in his own blood, just battered. These delinquents need to be taken into federal custody if possible. They have no business on the streets of D.C. Kendra Briggs. Here's this idea. She should have to co-sign, like on a loan. And if they off someone, she should be held responsible. I think there need to be more courts that look at what judges are doing and go, oh, no. No, excuse me. What the? No. In fact, you need to defend your actions here, and we're going to potentially consider taking your your judge credentials away. Like you can't allow something like this and still call yourself a judge. Where is the oversight? Where is the judge? Actually, that's a comment I'm going to make. Where is the judicial oversight? Who does that? Why aren't a group like SCOTUS constantly scanning judicial rulings for farcical decisions like this, and then bring that judge in front of them to argue why they shouldn't be disbarred and jailed? Who will police the judges? Who will judge the judges? I like my idea. I think there should be a SCOTUS for regular rulings. Here's a sign. Ladies and gentlemen, all right, well, let's read the sign and then tell you Byron Donald's response. This sign says, "Hey, Winsome, if trans can't share your bathroom, then blacks can't share my water fountain," says this sign. The fuck does that even mean? What does that even mean? Byron Donald says, "Ladies and gentlemen, this is the radical left Democrat Party. Election after election, they stoke racial division, play on emotions, and weaponize the painful history of segregation. Enough is enough. What happened tonight in Virginia is wrong, reprehensible, and it must be condemned outright. I stand with Winsome Sears."
Thank you. Okay, apologies for this meeting. Thank you. Okay, apologies for this meeting.
Wimpy whites right here. Two elderly white liberal lunatics.
Thank you. Okay,
Wimpy whites. You know, out of all the people in this, out of the demographics in this world that I'm not a fan of, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I kid. I meant Schittsburg. I think wimpy whites are perhaps, I mean, I can at least understand. Let's use the left's language. How a black or brown person. I can at least understand how somebody could be absolutely manipulated by racial arsonists, but like Barack Obama, the Democrat Party, all of the radical Marxist teachers from kindergarten to graduating senior year of college, MSNBC, CNN viewers. I could understand how they could absorb the brain damage and poison from these people manipulating them. Racial arsonists who constantly stoke anger for manipulative purposes. I understand how that happens. I understand how they got there. I don't forgive it, because you got to be an adult and you have to see through that bullshit. You can understand that bad things have happened in the past and that's not related to you now. And you can also understand that, yes, you've probably been called bad names and you might have missed out on opportunities. Guess what? All of us have. It's not exclusive. You're not part of some special group any more than when the Democrats will bring up a Gold Star mother to rant some ridiculous talking point that's incorrect, illogical, reprehensible. But you can't criticize that person because, how dare you go after a Gold Star mother? No. It ain't about who the person is. It's about the thoughts spilling out of the diarrhea mouth. When the things being said make no sense, I'm going to address that. Let it be known. There's no special group of people. Oh, that's anti-Semitic. You're allowed to criticize everything, and not everything is your fancy buzzword. Anti-Semitic. You're phobic. You're an ist. You're a sexist. You're a racist. You're a homogenist. I'm just making ist words up now. You're a dentist. Actually, that's a Seinfeld joke. A dentite. You're an anti-dentite. There's no special groups of people that are allowed to escape criticism. Everybody gets to. But if we're talking about groups, loathable, disgusting groups that I've lost respect for, I just can't find. I think wimpy whites. I could understand people who are 10 years old to 50 years old who were raised by parents. Let's talk about black and brown people, 10 to 50-year-old people raised by parents who were much more racist and faced much more racism. Wait, you can't be both. Yeah, you can be both. No, because black people can't be racist. Everybody can be racist. These people lying to you that only some groups can be racist is wrong. Every group can be racist. No, because they don't have held positions of power, so therefore they can't be racist, means we're perfect and nobody can criticize us of anything ever, and you're evil. I heard you the first time. I still disagree with you. I blame the wimpy whites for not standing up to these ideas and going, no, that's not accurate. I'm not buying that. What the fuck are you trying to teach me? No, I don't agree with that. I disagree completely. In fact, why are you even in a position at our school? Why am I paying you a salary? I blame the wimpy whites that just go along with these lies and the manipulation. I blame them the most. Is anyone else calling them wimpy whites? The old white liberals. Liberal. Alex Jones on a dating app in Austin. Liberal. Swiping left. Liberal. La, 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 la. I know I bust out into songs from time to time and I go into impersonations and bits, but like I said, I would rather have somebody produce those segments, someone edit those down to the site. I can't. I'm doing 6 hours putting this together. I don't have another 6 to do the other part. I have other things I have to do, but it is funny. Their brains have melted down. Crazy old people. Kind of saying judges give me the creeps. I mean, sort of in general now. Yeah. Like there's so much power. But yep, there's your wimpy whites. Anyway. All right, here's the judge creeping us out. Here's the highlight of this story again. We want to cover this every day. This is crazy. I hate this guy so much.
Judge Mullins, I'm not sure you should have been running a sex trafficking ring out of the county jail, right? Do you guys remember this guy? Judge Kevin Mullins, who was shot to death in his chambers on camera by the town sheriff, had turned the Letcher County Jail into a brothel to fulfill the disgusting fantasies of him and his buddies.
A brothel. The judge was using sex slaves in Kentucky. And then he was executed by the sheriff.
I don't mean he was turning a blind eye. Oh no, he was the freaking ringleader. Mullins and his disgusting friend.
You know, if you would go to Central Casting to find me a creep, this guy has got all the creepifications, all the creep qualifications. What about him is creepy? Is it the hairline, the bushy eyebrows, the creepy smile, the bloated face, the 3 chins? What about the sunken eyes? What about this guy makes him so creepy? Because he is discernibly, definitively creepy. No?
Would set up these parties at the county jail and other buildings in town, and they would pick which inmates they wanted to be with. As a thank you to the women, he would reduce their jail time or whatever punishment they were facing. And if the women didn't want to or refused to participate, he would threaten them with maximum sentences or kick them where it really counts. Threaten to call CPS. He was literally leveraging
threatening families. F me or I'll F your family is what this judge was doing. Can you believe that? This story makes me angry on levels that's... We were literally just having a conversation about slavery and sex slavery in particular, right? This right here. A judge. I am calling. Who do I call? Who do I address? On The Simpsons, they say, well, Dad, you're running a vigilante group, says Lisa Simpson. Fear the police. Who will police the police? He goes, oh, Coast Guard? I want some oversight of judges. Now, if judges fear repercussions and political payback of having their positions revoked based on their decisions, then, it'd be impossible to be a judge. But, I disagree. Give me, what is SCOTUS now? How many do they have? Is it, well, like the movie was 12 Angry Men on a Jury. Supreme Court is it 9? I think it's 9, right? 9 people on the Supreme Court. Let's do... So, no, really, who do I petition this to? Carolyn Leavitt and President Trump? I would like to form this. When Letitia James, the Attorney General, Judge Engoron up in New York, Alvin Bragg participating in obvious, liberty, 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 liberal, 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 obvious malfeasance, restrictions of civil liberties. Here's my proposal. I want the best of the best. Send me your gladiators. Only the best may enter. Okay, so bring them in. One person from each state. 50 people. So the Supreme Court of 9. I want the... What would you call the other court that could go after all these judges that are making rulings so terrible they must be called before the... Guys, I need helps in the name. I need your help suggesting names. Help in the comments. If the Supreme Court is 9, what would this group of 50 that I'm proposing, what would we call them? The 50. Half $100, $50, 50 cent. I don't know. Judges like this. Let me go past this guy, because this guy's like on executable levels. Like the sheriff said, I've had enough of this. But I'm talking about the judge that let the big balls attackers just, all right, yeah, you get to go. You get to go? You almost killed this guy, and we're just going to be super lenient? You have to go now to the almost Supreme Court. We'll tentatively call this the almost Supreme Court. You are now being called to the almost Supreme Court. The U.S. court. Tell us why you shouldn't be disbarred for this ruling. Let's hear it. Let's take a look at your information that you had. And we're going to make a determination here. Simple majority. The wisdom of the audience. Wisdom of the audience. How about this? You require 26 votes in your favor to keep your job. 26 people vote against you. You're disbarred. Find a new career. All right? Cacks knuckles. Let's see the case. Tell us what you looked at and why you ruled the way that you ruled. Cross-examine, ask a bunch of questions. Okay. Deliberate amongst yourselves and determine, should these terrible judges be removed? Judge Engoron. Oh, yeah. And this should be for attorney generals, too. Attorney generals and judges. I think this is the way. I want to make it happen. But yeah, this case, seeing a sheriff execute the judge. Now, something weird is that they exchanged phones. Give me yours and I don't know what the phone exchange was about. And I've read somewhere that maybe the judge's daughter got caught up, or the sheriff's daughter caught up in this, unconfirmed. We have a 72-hour rule with big stories. You can't really have definitive opinions of like, I know that this happened, because we don't know. There's so much we don't know on any given topic. But I want that. I want the U.S. court of 50, simple majority, defend why this judge gets to keep their job. Otherwise, you're disbarred. But this case, we've been talking about the Smithsonian overdoing the slavery thing. It's like, yeah, teach the lesson. Let's learn that part of the history. And then let's spend 90% of the time, 95% of the time talking about all the great things that have happened since that darkness. But no, it's like, oh, we want to spend 95% of our time just focused on darkness. What do they say? There are two wolves inside of you. Which one will win? A wolf of positivity and a wolf of malevolence. Positive and negative. You have two wolves inside of you. Which one is going to win? Type it in the comments. Who knows? Question of the day. Type it in the comments to let me know that you know. The wolf you feed will win. If you're looking for negativity, you're going to find it everywhere. That's why these colleges, with all of their divisive criteria, all these race relations study, career paths, it's, if you're training people to constantly hate things that have happened in the past and hate themselves and hate their oppressors and hate, you're going to be unleashed on the world to try to go work at another university to get one of those jobs to teach people to hate. And your job will cease to exist unless you can constantly find, oh, look, it's in the news. I told you America's a racist place. Yep, there's an original sin there, but told you it's still happening today, which is why, I've been working with, Hamas, it's not Hamas. Sorry. It's just the people with the flags against the genocide in Gaza. We're just trying to, make it a better place, because America's a pretty terrible place. America's not a terrible place. America's awesome. And there's been a ton of bullshit, and there's tons of bullshit today. But you don't bombard people with things 95% negative and not expect to create 95% negative people. You get what you give. Yeah, but you can't sugarcoat what happened. Nobody's sugarcoating shit. It was bad. And guess what? We fought a bloody civil war, and that ain't a thing anymore. Let's celebrate those past 150 years. Nah. Democrats have to keep pushing division. That's their currency. Couldn't find the other channel. Now hold on. John found it. Did you find it? Can anyone post a link in that? Let me see if I can find a link to it.
Their freedom for his sexual fantasies.
Yep. We were talking about slaves in the Smithsonian. Sorry, I got off track again, because there's all these stories are connected. I'm just trying to figure out which angle I want to approach it from. Slavery. There is modern day slavery that's happening. Look at this judge. Look at Africa. Look at the Middle East. Slavery today. Look at the people making your phones and making your clothing. Look at the hundreds trafficked through America with Obama, Biden. Hundreds of thousands. God knows what atrocious things are happening to these people. You want to focus on something? Focus how we are going after those motherfuckers right now. Focus on that, Smithsonian. You want this just to be this horrific torture show? Like walking through a horror movie for 90 minutes. It's a 90-minute movie, and 85 of it is just like, oh God, oh, these pictures, all these descriptions, the atrocity, the humanity. How about focus on how we're going after the bad guys? We've identified these global horrors, And look what America did to end that scourge. Like, we don't do that anymore. America's a place that ain't like that. You kind of all have equal footing, and you got to succeed with smart choices. Don't have kids out of wedlock, and don't get, don't go to jail. Finish high school. These are like the 3 things when I reconnected with my foster kid. I was like, dude, please tell me. 3 questions. Have you been to jail? No. Yes. I didn't talk to him for 7 years or something, from 11 to 17 or 10 to 17. Lost track. He was on the West Coast and whatever. I moved. Tell me you didn't go to jail. You've never been arrested. He's like, nope. I'm like, yes. Izzy, do you have any kids? What? No. Yes. How's it going in school? You going to graduate? Oh yeah, I'm graduating. Yes. All right. You got a shot. Make decent decisions and you got a shot. You can't worry about the things in your rear view mirror, things that didn't happen to you, things that, oh, but there's an echo. It echoes through history and it gets to me. And how could I ever succeed in this brutal world? By growing a set and just doing it. So grow a set and succeed. You can do it.
And the most deplorable part of it all, the entire county knew. Taya Adams, one of his victims.
They all knew. The county knew. Everybody knew. Everybody knew and nobody did anything. And then one day, the sheriff
said, quote, "Who would believe us anyways? The whole town was doing it. Nobody cared."
Okay, that part. Who would believe us anyway? The whole town was doing it. The whole town was doing it, and who would care? That feels like DC in a nutshell as well, doesn't it? Also, the out-of-control lawless cities like the deep state, Democrat, demonic run Washington, D.C., the crime's out of control. Guess what? No murders in a week. First time in how long? Imagine what happens when you give that little of a shit. When you give just a little bit, like, I have no fucks to give. Oh, I couldn't possibly care to concern myself with any of these things. Well, but you know what? If you cared just a little bit, to have a little bit of pride in your community, just a little bit of pride. I know pride's a sin. It's a gluttonous thing. And I don't mean pride like that. I mean, what's another way to say pride, but not in a douchey way, not in a 7 deadly sins kind of way. Some self-respect for where you live in the things around you and the standards of what you expect from your community. Raise your standards just a little bit and look at what can happen. A week of awesomeness in DC. That's the template. All you had to do was care. But yeah, what do you do when nobody cares? What do you do when you get to DC? You've got a bunch of ideas. You have a plan. You've got a strategy. And, well, guess what? You get bribed. You get blackmailed. You get threatened. They're all doing it. Would I rather get threatened and offed? Would I rather make my family generationally wealthy? What's more fun? The right thing isn't always the fun thing. But what a terrifying situation. Who would even know? Who would care? Who would believe me? All right. Did it go through? In the comments section, I tried to share the YouTube link for Picking Winners resale. And it didn't show up. That's weird. All right.
They're all swingers. It was all a big party to them. It was just so normal. They used this against us to ruin our lives. We still don't know exactly why Sheriff Mickey Steins gunned down the judge, but we do know the sheriff told an arresting officer that the judge was trying to kidnap his wife and kid. We also know that literally seconds before the murder, the sheriff asked to borrow the judge's cell phone to call his daughter, which is how the sheriff learned.
Okay, so he asked the judge to have his phone to call his daughter?
Learned that his daughter's cell phone number was saved in the judge's phone. Judge Mullen, I'm not.
Okay, so if that's accurate, yeah, but the comments are not going through from the YouTube channel. Okay, test. That came through from the YouTube channel. It says test. Picking winners. John posted on Rumble. All right. Well, we'll figure it out. But this story, I'm going to cover this Kentucky story as much as I can. There are many layers to this. Let's continue on. David Harris Jr. reports here. Crime is plunging because Trump sent in the National Guard. Let's take a report.
Guard hit the ground in Washington last week. That city's crime fight went into overdrive. And now we're seeing the impact and the dramatic reductions in crime. When the National Guard rolled into Washington last week, the locals seemed skeptical.
The crime is minimal here. There's not really a lot of crime here. It looks like window dressing to me.
But with the Guard on the ground, crime is on the decline. For the first time in a long time, D.C. has gone 7 days without a homicide. And that's not all. Carjackings are down 83%. Robberies are down 46%. Car thefts down 21%. And overall violent crime is down 22%.
When you have these kind of numbers going down, it basically says this is a success, and that means people feel safer.
Like many big cities, Washington's police department is critically short-staffed.
People who don't feel safe aren't free.
Sergeant Betsy Smith with the National Police Association says it is ripe for federal help.
More police generally equals less crime.
When the National Guard hit the ground in Washington last week, that city's crime fight went into overdrive. And now we're seeing the impact and the dramatic reductions in crime.
More police, less crime. More guns, less crime. Go figure. All right, here's Officer Tatum breaking it down. We gotta set the narrative right on these stories, or else they're gonna be twisted into things that they shouldn't be.
To get Batia an apron because she in the kitchen cooking.
Starting around 2011, 2012, sociologists started to notice a shift in white liberal opinion.
Oh wait, doggone it! There's music in the background of this video. I can't play it. White progressives became extreme in their views on race, more so than Black and Hispanic Americans. The media radically shifted how they discuss those issues. I don't want to read this whole thing. I had it on yesterday's show, but go ahead and watch this. It's a shame. I want to play this for you, but I know what they're going to do to ban it if I have random, irrelevant background music. So go check it out. But yeah, they radicalized people by changing what the media does, by breathlessly reporting all this anti-white racist rhetoric from the Democrat Party to shame the wimpy whites into submission. That is the Democrat Party. It's beta male boys. It's radical leftist women. Angry. They were screamed at and told they had to be allies for this radical cultural Marxist thing being pushed by Obama and his team. And it's racial poison. It's terrible. You know, back in the day, 80s, 90s. That was where we needed to be. We were like on the right path. Like a lot of things made sense. I mean, say what you will about Cosby now, and Will Smith now, but you know, the Cosby Show and Fresh Prince, and I mean, it was cool to be Black, and it was just people talked about the racial differences, and people made jokes openly because jokes are supposed to be allowable. That stuff happened. And then somewhere around 2001, everything changed when somebody went mass murderer in New York, in Manhattan. Well, you know, it was Osama bin Laden, or it was Larry Silverstein, or whoever did it. Sort of everything's been backward and falling apart ever since. I have a little bit of hope that we can put some of this back together, but the Democrats, what they've done, it really is indefensible. It's indefensible. It's unallowable, unforgivable, so destructive. All right, so take a look here. This is the Lawfare from New York Attorney General Letitia James, who says, elect me and I will destroy your political opponent. And that's bad because that's lawfare. That's a deprivation of civil liberties. That's sedition, treason, a coup. It's all sorts of stuff. Letitia James, oh yeah, needs to go up in front of the U.S. court and defend her position why she shouldn't be disbarred. And in this case, I think she needs to be jailed for treason. Election interference, all of it. Oh, Letitia James. I mean, these people thought they were invincible for a hot minute, but they're not. So Letitia James posted $464 million. Remember that? About a year and a half ago, trying to take Trump out, bankrupt him. Donald Trump Jr. says, I believe you mean $0. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Massive win, New York appeals. And this should have obviously been the main story. This is one of the main stories. This is huge. And we all knew this. This judge, Engeron, you want to look up creep in a dictionary. You see this guy's face? You see this ugly mug? Sorry, not to just go off how people look, but I think this guy looks how his personality is. Letitia James? That's great. Danette, are you still watching the program? You couldn't find the other channel. Yeah, if you type Picking Winners Resale, you might find it. Thanks for joining. So, massive win. New York appeals court has just thrown out President Trump's $500+ million civil fraud penalty. It has always been a witch hunt, election interference, and a total miscarriage of justice. And even a left-leaning New York appeals court agrees. No more lawfare. Trump's massive $500 million civil fraud fine in AG Tish James's case is thrown out by the New York appeals court. Charlie Kirk, breaking New York appeals court, thrown out the unprecedented, politically motivated 400. Look, the numbers are either 550, 465, 500, 465, 464, rounding it to 5. I think I put 550 in the title. Maybe I grabbed a number from a wrong site, but I've seen it reported so many different numbers. Appeals court in New York throws out unprecedented, politically motivated $465 million civil penalty that Letitia James tried to hit Trump with in 2024. They tried to impeach him, bankrupt him, imprison him, and assassinate him, and they failed. So I put "they failed" button as a comment. So yeah, if you're out scrolling on the interwebs and you see the New American Media leaving a comment, like the comment, share the comment, reply to the comment. The algorithm appreciates that. Oh my God, what is this? Libs of TikTok reporting Josimar Cabrera claimed that his missing wife, Shayla Gutierrez, was detained by ICE. Oh no. However, surveillance footage of Josimar's home shows him dragging around a body-sized bag. Police later found his wife's body in the woods. Josimar has since fled the country to Peru. Sorry, I was trying to do that like if you're watching this on MSNBC. You can't just see fled to Peru. You can't say that. You have to do it the way they do it. Josimar has since fled the country to Peru, where he was detained by local authorities. He is now in the process of being extradited to the United States for prosecution. Wow. Paul Spula says, so many false claims against ICE. Meanwhile, the real criminals are the ones making the claims. Another comment, I bet Chris Van Hollen can't wait to have happy hour margaritas with this criminal illegal. Christy says, welcome to California, where you can M your wife, blame ICE, and get the Democrats to cry on TV for you. Fullest extent of the law button. Go get him. Yeah, or he'll set up a GoFundMe page and make his family rich. Just gross. Being Libertarian posted this. Our wheels, your strength, diversity. Oh. You know, and this is not too dissimilar, by the way. How my buddy died in a motorcycle crash. I guess there was a truck that veered over and then made a right-hand turn to try to get off of the Pacific Coast Highway, but he was gunning it. When they made that wide turn, he hit the side of it and got ran over. Instantly gone. That was the drummer I moved out to Los Angeles with. Rest in peace, Sean. Hey, fun fact, if you don't know Sean, as well as you know my brother Chris, the guitar player in the band I moved out there with, or my cat Ben, Mr. Bean, or my cat Nimbus, you can know Sean. He's a part of the show. On the intro, the outro for the program, when you hear your guide to the truth, the new AmericanMedia.com, that's Sean. So his voice lives on. But that just reminded me that this is like the wide, slow turn that hit it and got ran over by it. It was a dump truck or something. It's a shame. But yeah, that guy that he didn't pass the tests and California gave him a commercial driver's license anyway. And he ended that family of 3, Harjinder Singh. Well, that's diversity as your strength. What's wrong with diversity? Don't we want everyone to like have a shot so we're all represented? No. What we want is competence out of whoever's competent enough to apply. You want to be a commercial truck driver? You got to know English to understand the signs. You got to comprehend what the street signs are and the rules, the laws. That's it. No, I have zero interest in putting every color of the crayon in a lineup to say, look, everyone's equally represented. We have such diversity. Nope. I want competent people driving commercial big rigs, flying planes, everywhere. Only competence. And if you're not competent, that's on you. That's not on me. But you don't sacrifice competence for diversity or equity or inclusion. Competence over all. There we go. I'll say prioritize competence over all things button. That'll be my comment. All right. Whoops. Where'd we go? Oh, hold on. I found it. Now we're back. Okay. Next. American truck drivers are angry. Here's Secretary Sean Duffy, Secretary of Transportation.
Had a sick set of ideals about we want to let as many people from around the world into this country, and then we want to let them in and compete with American men and women in some great jobs that are family supporting and drive the wages down of those jobs, but also endanger Americans' lives while they'll do it, whether they're the southern border, whether they're cartel members, whether they're criminals, sexual predators, drug dealers, or truck drivers that come into this country. The last administration didn't give a damn about the safety and the well-being of the American people. And this is just one additional example of the lack of care they had for us. Let me tell you another issue, Charlie, that's also happening. Again, so we have neighbors to the north and neighbors to the south, right? So in Canada and Mexico, we allow, because a lot of products move between our countries, we'll allow a Canadian truck driver or a Mexican truck driver to drive into the U.S. to drop a load. And once they drop it, their visa allows them to turn right around and drive back to their country of origin, Canada or Mexico.
I'm sorry. Drop a load. Please make some jokes in the comments.
What we find happening now is they'll actually pick up additional loads in violation of their visa, violation of what we allowed them to do in this country, and they'll make 2, 3, 4, 6 more stops in this country without authorization, cabotage. And so we're working on that as well. Again, we are going to follow the rules to the letter, and we're going to implement new regulation that, again, I think our truck drivers are so angry about this. American truck drivers.
They should be. We're all angry.
Abide by the rules. They move our products across the country. We saw during COVID how critical they are in keeping our store shelves stocked. They see this happening, and I think it gives their business a bad name. They are fully supportive of what we're doing, which I'm grateful for that. But also the fact that you bring people in to compete with great American jobs, or you drive down wages. I want great truck driving jobs with great pay because they do great work. And again, that the last administration didn't give a darn about it is outrageous. But we love them. The president loves them, and we're going to continue to look out for them and make sure that if you come in, you drive, you can speak the language, you can understand signs, and you're going to keep our roadways safe. The last administration had a sick set of ideals about we want to let as many people from.
There we go. We said, oh, the Democrats are dropping loads. All right. Yep. It just feels like these people are so much more competent. Sean Duffy was Secretary of Transportation, then Pete Buttigieg had no idea what was going on. We got to correct this. It's a national disaster. Gad Sad says cultures are not equal. Here's one. Here, let me ask the question of the group. Do you agree or disagree with Gad Sad? Gad Sad says cultures are not equal. Cultures are not interchangeable. All cultures do not mix as well with other cultures. Cultures possess unique values and beliefs that are perfectly antithetical to those of other cultures. These blatantly obvious facts are rejected by the parasitic idea of cultural relativism and parasitic suicidal empathy. If the West does not wake up soon and implement drastic autocorrective measures, it will ensure a dark future for our descendants. Wake up. So, let me ask you. In the comments, QOTD, Gad Sad, GADSAAD. Do you agree or disagree with Gad Sad? Not all cultures are compatible or equivalent, and they don't mix well. American culture? Yeah, I know all the ways that we're completely degenerate. However, we have freedoms that are non-negotiable. And if your plan is to overtake this country, city by city, region by region, district by district, state by state, federally, David agrees, Kenneth agrees. Gad is sad when he drinks. John Brenneman agrees on the question of the day. QOTD. Marion agrees. We have to speak up. No more wimpy whites. And by the way, wimpy whites is just a term for a wimp. It's just like the Democrat Party is mainly, I don't know. They think it's, oh, that's a party of minorities. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Bullshit. Go to the Bronx. Talk to the people I talked to, reporting for Real America's Voice in the New American Media last year at the Trump rally. 86% Dominican and black. They couldn't stand the Democrats that they're flooding the country with illegal aliens, giving them unlimited cards, free money that never runs out, 5-star hotels. These people are struggling, and all these resources are given to non-Americans. They were pissed at the deep state Democrats. Pissed. Don't tell me what the Democrat Party is made up of. But yeah, I'm disappointed in the wimpy whites that have allowed this brainwashing, this manipulation, the toxic poison of racial arson to just be thrown at them and not have the ability to stand up and go, I'm not taking this from you. I'm not listening to your shit anymore. No, I disagree. Nope. You're telling me lies. A man can't become a woman. Nope. Not doing it. Nope. I'm not going to feel guilty for things that happened in 1840s. I wasn't around. You weren't around. So lay off. You can stop your guilt trip of me because I'm not buying it. I'm so angry at the wimpy whites that run the Democrat Party. All right, here we go. We've all been waiting for this. John Bolton, the mustachioed man, himself. His home has been raided. Oh my gosh. Break out the brooms. What do you call a mustachioed man? It's a broom. It's a broom, right? Push broom. FBI has raided John Bolton's home. Here we go. Have the arrests finally started? I said, hold on. Have the arrests finally started? Can we please go to the top 1,000? Go get the top 1,000 traders tonight at 3 a.m. Start with Bolton. Now get the other 1,000. Here we go.
Some of the leaks that came from his office. Do we have any sense that there are other figures that the FBI is looking at as part of this investigation?
Well, we're not clear what this investigation is specifically, but yes, you're right that Fox has reported independently, yes, that agents are looking at James Comey. They're looking at, when I say agents, I should say the Department of Justice, looking at James Comey, looking at James Clapper, looking at John Brennan. Clapper was the former Director of National Intelligence. John Brennan, former CIA Director. So it's not clear if this is related to that, because John Bolton kind of hung in different circles than Comey and Clapper. He was on the inside during the first Trump administration as his national security advisor. So I'm not exactly sure if this is related to that. But it's notable this is related to classified documents. It looks like there was someone there in the front door. I'm not exactly sure who that is when the camera...
We were seeing FBI agents walk in, and then someone walked in. It looked like a female in civilian clothes, but it looked like she was holding papers, so maybe she works for the government.
Could be, yeah, could be, exactly.
Thank you so much.
No problem. When we find out more, we'll let you know.
John Bolton was a contributor here for years. He was a vital member of the Bush administration.
Oh, he was. We'll type that. Oh, thank you for reminding us. That John Bolton was a contributor to Fox for years. The same Fox network who had Chris Wallace repeat the despicable and debunked fine people hoax during the 2020 debate. We remember how far Fox has fallen. Yeah, I don't watch Fox anymore. DC violent crime has dropped 22% after Trump's crackdown. 0 homicides in the last week. It's working. Fox News Digital David Marcus includes stunning findings. No murders in a week. That hasn't been seen for months, since March. Yeah, it's the hot summer months where things do tend to pop off, so that is pretty remarkable. Carjackings dropped 83%. Robbery down 46%. Dramatic reductions in crime. All you have to do is care. Invoked Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act, placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control, activating the National Guard. What's the quote here? I understand a lot of you tend to be on the liberal side, but you don't want to get mugged and raped and shot and killed, Trump told reporters in the jam-packed White House press briefing room last week. You want to be able to leave your apartment or your house where you live and feel safe and go to a store and buy a newspaper or buy something. Yeah, people don't buy newspapers anymore, Trump. Actually, they do in D.C. And you have for decades, so whatever. Murder rate in D.C. is higher than that of Bogota, Colombia, Mexico City, some of the places you hear about as being the worst place on earth. Well, this is a good one. D.C. just needed a dad. It's amazing the difference a father can make in someone's life. Oh, man. Just say, drop a thank you button. It is appreciated, and it is working. James Wood says, no murders in D.C. for 7 straight days. That's a record. Democrats are outraged. Wolf Blitzer. This is what I saw when I drove by DC's Union Station this morning. The comments, Democrats are the reason this country has so much crime. Yeah, they really do thrive on chaos and lawlessness. It's a sickness the Dems and Libs have had since the 1960s. The outrage should be why it was able to get to this point. If Democrats would quit protecting criminals, zero bail is ridiculous. Mickey says one of the most basic core responsibilities of our elected reps is providing safety for the governed citizens. So weird connection to a story.
Never underestimate.
This guy shares my last name, but I don't know who this dude is. Joey Engelman. Is this a family member of mine? I don't know. So this story, take a walk through this story real quick.
Estimate the butterfly effect of a tiny public access show in upstate New York. Clay Tiffany was an independent journalist and the fearless host of Dirge for the Charlatans. Notorious for being a thorn in the side of local officials and law enforcement, Clay Tiffany would probe into corrupt politicians and dirty cops, then broadcast his findings on his public access show. But with this fame came enemies in powerful places. One being Briarcliff police officer / bodybuilder Nicholas Tartaglione, who in 1997 pulled Clay Tiffany over, warned him to stop looking into the police department, said he has ties with the mob, then physically assaulted the TV host. Obviously, this led Clay to delve further into the cop, and so began a long-standing feud between the two. Tiffany dug into his past and found that Tartaglione had a history of assault in his time as a police officer. Clay Tiffany would slam him and the BPD on Dirge for the Charlatans, and in retaliation, Tartaglione would find him and beat him up. This happens at least 4 times, with the last confrontation putting Clay in the hospital.
Okay, hang on. It gets more interesting.
He would host the next episode from his hospital bed. Clay sued the police department, winning a big settlement, but Tartaglione was never charged or found guilty of a crime. Until this story goes somewhere I never could have predicted. Clay Tiffany passed away in March 2015 of natural causes, and the following year, Nicholas Tartaglione was arrested after killing 4 men over stolen drug money and burying them in a mass grave in the woods. Tartaglione, now facing a life sentence, has been behind bars since his arrest, where in 2019, he was the last person to share a prison cell with Jeffrey Epstein. Never underestimate the...
Yeah, there's your butterfly effect right there. Just, when I'm digging for stories, I'm just trying to find all of the... I want to see all the angles, all the connections. I'm super curious about all of it. There's probably missed connections and components of the story that are underreported. I haven't confirmed this, but if true, that's a pretty wild story. Never heard that one before. I can't play this because it's got music. Here's a visual representation of, here's what it's like when the beers start tasting like the whole bar wants to hear your stance on immigration. You want to hear my stance on immigration? Glug, glug, glug. I feel like everybody here wants to hear something I'm thinking about. Pro tip. Maybe not a great idea. Oh, I told you this is like my meme of the year, like my favorite meme, where the baby points and the mom or the grandma or the mom, the abuela is like, no, no, no. And the baby's like, aye. Huh? No, aye. It was my favorite video. I played it 1,000 times. Now they've repurposed it for Trump. This is Zelensky meeting with Trump.
No, quiet, quiet.
Try it again.
No, don't be rude.
Can you give us?
No, quiet, quiet.
No,
no, don't be rude.
Can you give us?
Comment. This is why the internet was created. Oh, I love that. That's so good. Okay, well, Megyn Kelly and Candace Owens, they're having conversations about things people are noticing. Israel and the like. Where do they stand? Where do you stand? Let's take a listen to this chat between the two ladies.
I've been very pro-Israel, and I've been very defensive of their right to defend themselves in this nightmare. Of course. And I've been very defensive of American Jews on campuses who are just being harassed. It's ridiculous. Of course. But I have absolutely no skin whatsoever in defending any lobbyist group, including AIPAC. Right. So I would love to know what they do to get the loyalty of politicians, because I will say I have had multiple reach outs to me, both from friends and from connected people in DC, begging me to go to Israel with them. And I have said no every time. I usually am just too busy. I have 3 kids. I have a full-time job. I'm not doing it. But lately it seems like it's coming to be even more, because I feel like there's a contingent of people who are worried that they're losing me. And I've said that you're not losing. I'm not on Hamas's side.
No, God, no. Nobody's on Hamas's side.
But it's been a while now that this has been going on.
Right.
And we're getting more involved with the Iranian bombing and so on.
Sure.
And my own feelings are, I'm looking at Israel in a different way right now than I was on 10/8, that's for sure, of 23.
Right.
And I can feel the pressure being slightly ratcheted up, like you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to. And I can see people like you, like Tucker, who I know Tucker. I've known him for years. And I've seen you in your early career. I know you have nothing against Israel.
I said Candace Owens. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm sorry about that. That might have been another video I scrolled across doing show prep. Yeah, Anomaly has turned this into a very important issue. Candace Owens. Look, a lot of people are looking at Israel in a totally different light. Rightfully so. Are they our 51st state? Are they an ally? Do we work for them? Are we their slaves? What is the dynamic of Jeffrey Epstein? What is 1913? What are these bankers, these private banking cabals? What in the world is going on? I have almost always had knee-jerk reactions to defend Israel's right to exist. Oh, another bombing in Israel. Well, screw the people doing it. Go get them. Wipe them all out. I'm so sick of it. I've had many a debate, conversation with Blake when we were co-hosting shows. I try not to delve too much into, there's some topics I really tried to avoid the race issue because it's so irrelevant. You're alive in 2025. Figure it the fuck out. Grow a set, make some decisions, live your life. Don't ask me to be angry on your behalf. Don't ask me to be your ally. Don't ask me to do anything. And I'm not going to ask you to do anything. How about we all just do our thing and we all have an equal shot of success? It's not an equal shot of success. We never had a chance of success. That's wrong. Oh, I brought up the point. I never finished the thought about being flashy thinged. Way at the top of the show in the intro, I think I was talking about how Scott Adams said it would be so much more beneficial if we could just flashy thing all of Black America. So it's like you wouldn't approach situations with all of this propaganda, with all of this manipulative rage bait that at the core of it constantly tries to make people feel like victims. You should feel like you're in a country that has got just massive strides taken in 150 years after being one of the only places to permanently abolish the act that you're so against, which you should be against, which we're all supposed to be against. It's so counterproductive. True or false? Yes, yeah, bad things happen, and all through the 60s, and then 60s leaders, MLK were off. Like, see, you say that was 150 years ago, but that was recent. That was as recent as 40, 60, 65 years ago, 75 years ago. Like, that stuff was happening in our lifetime, not our lifetime, our parents' lifetime. Okay, well, something like that. Okay. And look how far we've come since then. That's where you focus. You focus on the positivity and the steps taken and the advances. You don't just dwell on negativity, because you will feed the wolf that wins is the one you feed. Give it negativity all the time. That victim mentality, man, that is poison for anyone that consumes it. So I generally try not to and it really, if Blake wasn't bringing it up, what am I supposed to say about a war? What do I know? Well, can you believe they said there were dead babies? Number one, are you trying to tell me you know definitively that there weren't? There weren't. It's propaganda from Netanyahu. Is it? How can you believe anything coming out of a propaganda war? How can anyone believe anything coming out of a propaganda war? No, I don't knee-jerk react for Israel or against Israel per se. I just always viewed Israel as a state that existed. So stop messing with them. Yeah, well, they were illegally installed in 1947. They should have never been there. The Balfour Declaration. Okay. So you want to re-legislate New Mexico and Florida and Texas, the whole Louisiana Purchase? How about Seward's folly? We got to fight over Alaska? Yeah, because you're colonists or something. You mean like how Obama has been colonizing every sovereign nation on earth with non-citizens of that nation? What are we talking about here? Yeah, we have to go back. We have to go back further because that's where we gain territory and we gain power. You see, going back to the 40s, they go back further. They go, no, thousands of years ago. Yeah, but it's not really even the right group of people. That group of people, they don't even share the same ties. I hate the issue. I hate the topic. What am I supposed to add to that? It's just shrieking at each other. It's just reeing at each other. I generally don't have much to add with abortion or unless it's something just so glaringly offensive to me. I try not to even bother with the race issue. I don't care what anyone looks like. I care how they act. That's what I care about. And I don't get into the Israeli issue, but I am weirded out by a million things right now, and we need some answers. So, MTG talking with Megyn Kelly.
Oh, gosh, no.
Never mind Jews.
Yeah.
That's all a lie. But
right.
And I see the beatdowns coming. Like, you're not allowed. Like, you have to stay right on this lily pad.
Yes.
And you cannot jump to another neighboring lily pad because it could take you all the way down the river away.
That's
so
right.
I'm very interested in this dynamic.
Yeah. Well, I find it fascinating that you're getting asked more and more and more. I've been asked more and more and more. Well, you're a person of very big influence. You've got a big voice. You've got a large audience. They also take a lot of influencers. They invite tons of influencers.
Many of whom have invited me. Like, we're all going together, and will you come? Like, they seem to be coming at me from a number of ways, which only really kind of raises my hackles. Like, I'm not going. I'm going to stay right here. I've been very pro-Israel.
At this, you know what? Oh my God. Who's really thought about it this way? This whole go to Israel thing. And that's been brought up to me as well. Is it a timeshare pitch? Just get you in the front door. Have free vacation. Come on. Why? Why? Hello, Deb. Welcome. No, yes, that baby pointing, the Zelensky baby pointing at the pile of money and Trump scolding him. That was funny. I said that's what the internet was invented for, and Deb's like, "Oh, come on, Brian. The internet was created for porn. Every new technology will be used for porn as soon as possible. Every technology. 100%. Megyn Kelly doesn't influence me at all, but she's got nice hair extensions. Unholy hoax, not a fan of Israel's policies. There's a lot of that going around these days. Maybe has been going around for quite some time. Disclosed TV says U.S. has now paused all the issuance of worker visas for commercial truck drivers as the increasing number of foreign drivers is endangering American lives and undercutting the livelihoods of American truckers. Thank you. And yeah, that dude had zero emotion watching that car hit his truck. So that's the right action. All right, what is this? In his final speech as Federal Reserve Chair, Jerome Powell said, this is today, the balance of risks appears to be shifting. The shifting balance of risks may warrant adjusting our policy stance. Actually, my comment would be, why are we begging to adjust a private cabal of private banksters setting policies on our freaking currency? Hashtag end the Fed.
I do want to get your take on the gutting of the Federal Reserve. Can we go there? Because I actually was really kind of giddy thinking about asking you about this, because the pictures that President Trump, and this is not getting out, by the way. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on, but you have to keep going to .gov to figure out what President Trump is doing, because if you're waiting for Twitter to tell you, or whatever, social media or whatever, Newsbreak, they're not going to tell you what President Trump is doing. But the hilarious antics recently of President Trump and the pictures he's taking and the posts he's doing regarding the Federal Reserve building are just, it's making my whole week, honestly. It's making my whole year. What is going on there? I mean, what is the real story?
Jerome Powell looked like he was gonna defecate when he had the meeting with Trump. And the recent comments by the Treasury Secretary Bassett stated that he believes there actually is going to be a decrease in interest rates next month. Whether that happens or not, we're going to have to see what transpires.
Do you want to get your take on the gutting of the Federal
Reserve? But I think that there is going to be a shift in the Fed. I think Trump's going to end up naming another chair. Who that is yet to be seen. I don't know who's qualified for that position in an America First lens. However, it is encouraging to see that Trump is in the building and he is making his presence known. So Powell's reaction, if you want to ever go back and re-review those tapes, it says it all.
I mean, Trump has taken the roof, he's taken the doors, he's taken the windows, like he's dismantling the whole house. So it's kind of like, Jerome, you can hang out here, but there's not going to be anything here for you. It's a skeleton. You don't even have a door on your office anymore. I mean, whatever, but here you go. I think we, in the midst of all of this Epstein stuff and the things that the narratives that are floating around, we are not training our own selves to go and read from the government site itself what is actually happening, what is actually going on. I keep encouraging people, but if you still don't want to do that, everybody, then go to Real Toria Brooke. You can find her on all social media platforms. She shares only the most important information that you need to have. One of the things I really appreciate and respect about you is making things that are difficult easy to understand for all of us who are not in geopolitics and don't understand the consequences of rare earth minerals to America and to the
I've enjoyed sharing some of Toria Brooks stuff.
rest of the world, quite frankly, for peace. So I appreciate you so much. Last word. Want to do that, everybody, then go to Real Toria Brooke. You can find her on all social media platforms. She shares only the
Okay, there you go. All right. But my comment was, why are we begging to adjust a private cabal of private banksters setting policies on our freaking currency? Hashtag end the Fed. Why are we begging this? Why are they keeping it open, period? Exactly. Brian, Deborah. In the Bible, Deborah was a judge. No thanks. Yeah, we talked about judges being creepy. What's creepier, a clown or a judge? All right, here's a story that, what the hell is this about?
Tom Alexandrovich. He is the executive director of Israel's National Cyber Directorate. He was arrested after a sting bust in Las Vegas. He was meeting up with who he thought was a minor, and he's allowed to board a plane and to go back to Israel, where he will not face charges. And here's another thing. He's extremely connected to Netanyahu. In fact, his department works in Netanyahu's office. He was acting head of data and AI for the directorate, which means he oversaw AI-driven cyber ops, including disinformation, social media monitoring, and content control. And it actually turns out, Grok has admitted that
Is there there's music on this, right? In the background? I think I'm hearing music.
this guy was actually the reason he...
Yeah, I can't play it if it's got music. This is such a mess. Taking off the internet, Alexandrovich, cyber unit, head of technological defense department, state prosecution, 26. I can't make sense of the. Sorry, yet another segment ruined by music in the background. People taking pictures with the National Guard. All right, here's Man on the Street about how people feel about DC getting some law and order finally.
The feds coming here into Washington, D.C.
I love it. I love it. I wish it was more.
And how dangerous did Washington, D.C. become in these past few years?
It doesn't compare to the 80s. D.C. was the murder capital of the United States. We averaged 13 bodies a day.
And do you think Donald Trump's wrong for wanting to come in here and clean up the city?
Nope. No, I do not.
And why do you think there's so many people are getting upset with him coming in and wanting to take control of the city as far as getting rid of the crime?
Because they're not doing enough. They need to take control and get this city. But this is the nation's capital. You got tourists scared to come here.
And were the police enforcing the laws?
But it's not enough of them. They're not doing enough.
What do you think about the federal government coming in here and trying to stop some crime?
It's a bad idea.
Why do you think it's a bad idea?
Because we need them to actually be stopping crime, not being sent against the homeless.
Okay, so do you think they're over?
More music. Talk on it. Do you think they're overstepping the boundaries in DC? Yeah. I mean, it's wrong on all sorts of levels. It's just dumb, she says. This old hat, though,
was more.
And he dropped that. He dropped that statistic. It's like, yeah, man, we should stack 13 bodies a day. Kind of like how a fantasy football owner would talk about Jamar Chase scoring touchdowns. Yeah, man, he'd average 13 points a game. Help me win my fantasy football championship. I wonder if this guy's got any teardrops responsible for any of them.
Become in these past few years.
It doesn't compare to the 80s. D.C. was the murder capital of the United States. We averaged 13 bodies a day.
And do you think Donald Trump's wrong for wanting?
So there you go. Interesting perspective. All right, CBS News reporting. CBS 4 learned approximately 1,000 hang on. There we are. 1,000 Denver Police Department crime reports from the last several years are being reviewed and closely scrutinized after they were downgraded in a way that essentially removed them from official reporting requirements and significantly improved department crime statistics. They rewrote what it means to vaccinate, what a vaccination does. Remember during COVID, they couldn't get the vaccine, they couldn't get the jab to do what they wanted it to do, so they changed the definition. They couldn't reduce crime or didn't want to reduce crime, so they just recategorized it and left it there. And we all knew that things were bad and we were tired of not getting help in our communities. Look at that. Multiple police sources familiar with the internal probe confirmed to CBS 4 that the reports, which came primarily from District 1 in Northwest Denver and District 3 in Southeast Denver, were downgraded from the way they were initially reported as a criminal offense reports to letter to detective. Yeah, they're straight up lying to you. Democrats hate us. Multiple staffers have reportedly turned against Ratchet Jasmine Crockett, accusing her of being a no-show boss from hell, per New York Post.
Going to do this. Look, you guys
earlier, literally just.
You just voted to do it.
Y'all did it first, so you don't want to talk about it.
Voted to do it.
Order.
I'm trying to get clarification.
Look at, calm down. Calm down.
No, because this is what y'all do. So I'm trying to get clarification.
You're not recognized. Miss
I can't hear you with your yelling.
You don't want
calm
me
down.
No,
can you please calm down.
Don't tell me to calm down.
Calm down.
Because y'all talk noise, and then
You're out of control.
Because if I
Chairman,
come and talk shit about her, y'all gonna have a problem.
We're not going to do this. Look, you guys earlier literally just.
Don't tell me to calm down because y'all talk noise. I'm so sad to see that this Mensa member is not going to be a part of Congress now that they've redistricted in Texas. Oh, Jasmine Crockett, you were so good for America. That's just so sad. Bye. Oh, is this Tucker's best moment? This might come back to haunt Adam Schiff. Please arrest him immediately.
Let me just ask you one final question. Can you look right into the camera and say, I know for a fact the government of Vladimir Putin was behind the hacks of John Podesta's email?
Absolutely. The government of Vladimir Putin was behind the hacks of our institution and the dumping of information.
Of John Podesta's email.
Not only in the United States, but also in Europe.
Okay, you're not, you know what, you're dodging.
And Tucker.
No, look and say, I know they did. John Podesta's email, they hacked
And I think that Ronald Reagan will be rolling over Ronald Reagan. You're carrying water for the Kremlin.
I'm not carrying water for the Kremlin. You're a sitting member of Congress on the Intel Committee, and you can't say they hacked.
You're gonna have to move your show to RT Russian television because this is perfect.
This is beneath your office because it's so dumb and you're being duplicitous. I'm asking you, did they hack Podesta's emails? And you can't say it. Look in the camera and say they hacked.
He couldn't say it. What a clown. Everyone I don't like is a Russian asset. Tish is out of luck. $500 million lawfare versus Trump has been torpedoed. And an Adams... Wait. Oh, an Adams advisor. Paid off with a TV role in seafood. Shrimp on the bribery. That's a great... But yeah, we knew this was all going to get thrown out. Because Trump took out a loan and paid it back and nobody was angry. And what was the problem? There was no problem. Letitia James violated the civil liberties of President Trump and literally did the meme. Show me the man and I'll find you the crime. That's not how justice works. That's how weaponization of our government works. Brutal. Yeah, you're next, pencil neck.
I'm sorry.
There's a lot of reports that Israel is starving the people in Gaza. Talk about it. Here's this Jeremy Awakens. Don't know him, but I saw this and I'm sharing it. Just to let you know, I don't believe any reports from Gaza or Israel. It's in the middle of an active war. But I've been hearing for months straight that Israel's starving Gaza. Okay, we've reported Israel's starving Gaza. People are saying that. Then we report that no, Hamas is grabbing the stuff and stealing it. And if you try to go get the aid, they shoot you. Do you believe that? No, because it's in the middle of a war. You can't believe anything. Everything's propaganda.
Mom and Dad, but I had to come here. I had to come to Gaza to see the truth with my own two eyes. And as you can see, there are thousands of boxes and crates with food and medicine behind me. Yet none of these have been delivered to the people of Gaza, who are still suffering and starving. How is this possible? Well, the world continues to blame Israel for this, when in reality, Israel is doing everything in its power to actually get this food delivered to the Palestinian people. But it's Hamas and the UN who are complicit in the suffering and starvation of the people of Gaza. Some of these crates have been here for weeks, if not months. We have sugar, we have cheese, we have tuna, literally everything. It's probably going moldy at this point, honestly.
Yeah, you don't
and
want...
this is exactly Hamas's plan.
You don't want tuna and cheese out in the sun by any stretch.
To paint Israel as the perpetrator of all of this, when in reality, it's Hamas that continues to use its own people as pawns. We see it when they use their own children as human shields. And now we're seeing it as they use food as a weapon of war. Truly one of the most pathetic, disgusting acts that I have witnessed in my entire life. And that's why I had to come to Gaza. I got my bulletproof vest on. I don't care. I will do anything to share with you the truth. And the truth is that Hamas is solely responsible for all of this food not being delivered to its own people. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad, but I had to come here.
So, I don't know, something about the whole I'm sorry, Mom and Dad, something about it seems a little forced, a little produced, a little fake to me. But I also agree, you know, with the underlying theme here. It's like, yeah, the worse you can make the other side look, that's a propaganda win. If you can get many people repeating stuff, in some ways, it's okay in war to sacrifice a few people, sacrifice a lot of people. If it tries to, if the goal is to get the international community on your side, yeah, you're going to put out whatever propaganda you want, whether you're in Palestine or whether you're in Israel or wherever. Everybody wants the most sympathetic propaganda possible. John saying he speaks with the lots of S's. Yep, that's the other thing. Gaza got what they voted for. It's so interesting. It's like 85% of the people voted for Hamas or something like that. But then the instant response is they didn't vote for that. Their whole population is young. They never even voted. Well, so vote, get them out. They have a revolution, get rid of them. They started a war with their neighbor. No, Israel started it back in 1947 because they exist now. And you're like, okay. So you literally mean from the river to the sea, exterminate them like cockroaches. Now you sound like you're on a Ivy League college campus. Just say what you say. Just say what you mean. You don't like that Israel got drawn in the mid to late 1940s. So they deserve to get attacked. No, Netanyahu, he allowed it to happen. Netanyahu did this to his own people. He butchered 1,200 people at that concert. Well, he didn't do it personally, but a bird can't land on a razor line over there without their security forces knowing. Everybody knows that. So if it happened, a couple people on paragliders are going to kill 1,200 people. Bullshit. This was Benjamin Netanyahu, and Israel did this to themselves just so they could go steal the land of Palestine. You understand that it sounds like you're blaming the hot chick for getting raped because her mini skirt was too short. Like, her existing in the universe means she should get abused because she exists. Do you hear what you're sounding like, people? Yeah, there's no way paragliders were able to do that. This was an inside job. Show me what you have on that. Like, I'm all ears. I'm all eyes. I have zero interest in repeating falsities, falsehoods, false narratives. No thanks. I'm good. I'll pass. If you got proof, I'd love to see it. You know, now I sound like Stephen Colbert talking to Jon Stewart with the rich chocolatey, the outbreak of chocolatey goodness in Hershey, Pennsylvania. What could it be? No, John, if you have information, I'd love to see it. Oh, you come in and butcher 1,200 people at a music festival in my neck of the woods. No, there's no limit to what I would do to make sure that never happens again. Anyway, there's a report. Take it for what it is. Elise Stefanik hails the appeals court win and vindicates, saying, quote, it vindicates not just Trump, but all Americans who have been harmed by the left's legal lawfare. 464 million judgment is a resounding victory for justice. Now, if the appeals court overturned this, countless Americans harmed. Yes, Letitia James and her allies must be held accountable for their corrupt actions. This is a sham. Okay. Democrats are no longer Americans by any means. Total elimination is the goal. They are trying to eliminate us, is what's up. All right, what's this? Trump is trying to get some pizzas people can annihilate. Handing out pizza to law enforcement. Lots of smiles. I like seeing Trump out as a man of the people, and I also just want him in a bubble so he stays safe, you know? Yeah, 55 million people here on visas. 1/7 of America is non-American. 1/6. What are we doing? Doesn't make any sense. How about this meme? You go from Cracker Barrel to Greta Thunberg. Cracker Barrel. Not an upgrade. Not an upgrade. That is a downgrade, let me tell you. Deb saying, I think women have a right to wear what they want, but if you're going to flash your private parts of people, don't be shocked if they don't respect you, and violence is never acceptable. Yeah, I used to share common sense opinions, and people used to understand what that meant. But in 2025, it's like you got to be super specific and still. I'll be like, all right, here's what I'm specifically talking about. Don't twist this into something I'm not saying. But yeah, if the claim is that Israel Bubba Wallaced itself or Juicy Smolletted itself, faked something, in fact, you actually offed a bunch of innocent people. If you did that just to go do something bad, just to make Trump look bad, to make MAGA look bad for whatever reason, for clout, I don't know, sympathy. Yeah, that's pretty despicable. Here's the woke CEO destroying Cracker Barrel. Where did all of our customers and shareholders go? Go woke, go broke. Look at me, everybody. I'm wearing the big, thick, extra thick glasses. Known. It's the thing that all us wimpy whites wear. Wimpy whites unite! Yay! Wimpy whites unite! Yay! We'll be social justice warriors and go fix all the ills of society, we will. Down the crapper barrel. Down the crapper barrel is nice. How dare you? Nice, John. I should have said that. Hang on. No, I'll say it. How dare you eat a Cracker Barrel? How dare you? How dare you? Crack. There's Hunter Biden with a pile of cocaine, a pile of crack on top of a barrel. Crack. That one is fantastic. The comment, is Narcan on the menu for dessert? Oh, no. Oh, no. This makes me so sad. She was so cute. What happened? Who hurt her? I forget her name. The actress? What is her name? Ellen Page. She used to be so cute. What happened? Looks so sad over here is the new Cracker Barrel. That one really makes me sad. She used to be so happy and pretty. Oh. That's supposed to be funny, but it just made me sad for her. I was Narcaned at Cracker Barrel Old Country Store. What? Yeah, see, that's how you capitalize on. Oh, see, this is why you follow the New American Media. You get the dank memes. Subscribe to us on YouTube and or on Instagram, and you'll have all these memes at your disposal. Ellen Page, what a sad. What a sad situation. It is the same person. That person said, I'm suffering from gender dysphoria. I think she lopped off her boobies. I'm trying to be as scientific as possible by saying lopped off her own boobies. I don't know exactly the extent, but this poor, sweet, pretty thing who's clearly suffering from gender dysphoria. If you got a problem with being this, there's a problem. She's a very pretty girl. Why would you do that? Why would you do that to yourself? Why would anyone allow you to do that to you? Is there no adult in the room that could chime in and go, hey, no, whoa. Hold on a minute now. And look, if the person's 18 and they want to pay for it for themselves, you can. I don't advise face tattoos. I don't advise chopping body parts off, fully functional. Like, I don't support that. If you want to, you can, but geez, it just makes me sad. Yeah, it's the same person, Ellen Page. See, this is great. End the Fed. Just capitalize on the Cracker Barrel thing. Ooh, that is a non-flattering picture. There's Cracker Barrel with the old logo, and then I'm the woke Disney princess. Did that thing bomb or what? Oh, look at this. Release the files. There you go. Yep. All the credible information needs to be released. But wow, that was a lot there. Some good memes. Definitely appreciative of meme culture. All right, let's go over to X and buzz through anything that's happening. Steak and Shake is trending. There's our Patreon link. If anyone, it's pinned to our X feed at American_media_. You can sign up on Patreon or watch our interview with John B. Wells. So there's a fire on the USS New Orleans off of Okinawa, indicating the fire's in or near the living and storage spaces of the ship via the engine room. USS New Orleans off the Okinawa coast at U.S. Naval Base White Beach. No casualties reported at this time. Japanese Coast Guard ships assisting to put out the fire. Keep your eyes peeled on that. Mustache rides in honor. Can't have music, but yes, in honor of John Bolton facing some justice. Mustache rides. That's from Super Troopers, right? Am I remembering the right movie? Super Troopers with the mustache rides? Yes. All right, President Trump shows up, making a surprise appearance at the People's House gift shop across the street from the White House.
Good morning.
You know, This is not much of a clip, but it's President Trump walking in.
Good morning.
But I do have concerns about Susie Wiles. You know, she's there, she's fine, whatever. Trump turns to the press, and she reaches out, grabs him, and guides him in. Does not want him having an impromptu press conference.
Good morning.
Starts talking to him and kind of guides him in. Now, I could understand that the president actually does need handlers, but between him and Howard Lutnick and a couple other creepy people that are always around, based on the unleashing of the Epstein story, I blame Susie Wiles for just one of the most horrific launches of a public policy termination that I've ever seen. Unless they were intentionally trying to look guilty, in which case Susie Wiles, as chief of staff, and the entire Trump team definitely succeeded.
Good morning.
Just, I don't know. Susie Wiles being one of Trump's handlers, how do we feel about that? Something I'm picking up on from this video.
Good morning.
As soon as he opens his mouth, she makes a play to kind of put her hand back and guide him away from that scenario.
Good morning.
All right, so something is occurring here. What's this?
So we're going to see the president at noon today for an announcement. The basis of that, we don't have full information yet, but we also just got a notice from the pool that they've been loaded into the vans for a movement this morning that was not on the schedule. No clear details yet on where the president is going, but it sounds like they might be on the move here very soon. Dana.
I love off the records. Okay, we'll stand by and let
Dana Perino, former press secretary. I saw the pictures. I thought it was a joke. Is this really a cracker? Is this really what they're doing? This is so much worse than just the sign. The hell even is this? John says, I trust her. The fake media is pushing a lot of stuff about her. Look, I praised her. I praised Susie Wiles for, I mean, the breakneck speed with, oh, pardon the pun with Epstein, with breakneck speed. Oh, God, that's hilarious. The breakneck speed with which Susie Wiles and the Trump team were getting things done, I was impressed. Until, until the Epstein thing. And then I started giving her a lot of grief. But my God, is this really Mason Home Builder? This can't be true. We were contracted to remodel 500 Cracker Barrels over the next 5 years, and we just wrapped our first one. What do you guys think of the fresh, modern rebrand? Is that a joke? Tara Bull says, we hate it. Signed every American. Tara says, I hear a lot of people are confused about why we're upset with Cracker Barrel. It's not just Cracker Barrel. What's this? Music. Fresh exterior paint. The whole building used to be dark brown. Sprucing up the store. It's got music, I think. Gotta need music. Much less crowded in the store. Well, much less crowded in the store, huh? Is that something you want to advertise? Oh, God. Is this real? Going into Cracker Barrel. No dark lattice walls. Updated decorations, more modern, old-time feel. Menus without the cracker or the barrel. I don't know. Like I said, I think Cracker Barrel fell off a lot over the past 10, 20 years. I used to love going there. And I don't remember it being great lately. I haven't gone back. So it needed some help, but I don't think this is helping. This is just pushing people away. Like it's supposed to feel like you're out at your grandpa's place on the porch. Okay. Said it's no joke. It looks like Starbucks with a different logo. Yuck. We're getting more information about Jenna Griswold over in Colorado ruining her state. Just a reminder, she tried to kick Trump off of the ballot, and now she's still up to her games. She needs to be recalled and indicted. Jenna Griswold is part of that top 1,000. Needs to go. I think she exhibits crazy eyes. Anyone see the crazy eyes? Is it just me? I think she's got the crazy eyes. Not the cash eyes. The crazy eyes. Slight differences. We just shared this, a reminder, and Nancy, thanks. I'd forgotten. I love the random comments sometimes. Poso says, here's the person who made the original Cracker Barrel logo versus the person who removed it. Ugh. Wimpy White. Not on the left. Wimpy White on the right. How can you say such mean things about white people? No, not all white people, just some white people. You know, the ones that earn it. Just like we've always said about every group of every people. If you're a dog that's barking, maybe you're the one that got hit with the stone. She's got the Rachel Maddow glasses. The like when you get the fake eyes and the fake glasses and the fake nose, the Groucho Marx. Go woke, go broke. The company decided to ditch. Here's this lady looking around going, Here's at a remodeled Cracker Barrel.
I want to join in on the hate. If the Cracker Barrel don't look like the Jim Crow South, I can't eat there. You got to have the racism aesthetic. You got to have the rocking chairs and the hint of segregation in the air. If I don't feel like I'm on the set of Sinners, then how do I know I'm in a Cracker Barrel? This is a gentrified Cracker Barrel. They done took all the character out of it, and I know the edges of the pancake ain't burnt. I gotta feel like somebody wants to say, "Good morning, boy." When
Good morning, boy.
I go in with respect, and no respect at all. I feel like they want me to work there, but they
with respect. And with no respect at all. I feel like they want me to work there, but
they don't want to pay me ever. And I've got to live there. That's Cracker Barrel's thing. If you take that away, what is it? A Denny's, a IHOP? A place I don't want to be at.
I gotta ask this question. I think I probably know the answer. What if all the customers are coming at you hard enough about the look of the restaurant and they want to go back to the old way? Would you do it?
Honestly, the feedback's been overwhelmingly positive that people like what we're doing. I'll give you another soundbite. I actually happened to be in Orlando last week with all of our managers. We bring them together and
I'll give you another soundbite. This is like it grown in a corporate petri dish, this lady.
Every other year. And the number one question that I got asked, Michael, was, how can I get a remodel? When can I get a remodel? How do I get on the list?
Oh, really?
So because the feedback and the buzz is so good, not only from our customers, but from our team members. They want to work in a wonderful restaurant. So we're doing everything for our guests and our team members.
Well, Julie Messino, it's wonderful to have you here.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you again.
Answering those questions for all the Cracker Barrel fans out there. There's a lot of great changes.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
It's just so cringe. I mean, look, you're getting attention, so that aspect of marketing has worked. But not for the right reasons.
Robin?
Not all attention is good attention, hence the miniskirt, right? What'd you say, Deb? Like, if you're going to show everything off, you can't ask for respect, too.
Can I get in writing that the peg game is going to stay?
The peg game is staying.
Okay.
So are the rocking chairs, fireplace, vintage decor. It's all there.
All right. Okay. Because that would be a deal breaker. That would be a
I love these phony corporate press releases. CEO Julie Fells Massino. 3 names. It's not hyphenated, though. Fells isn't a middle name, though. Cracker Barrel stock is down 14%. Let's check in on that later. What do you think? You think the stock will stay down? Byron Donald's here making, geez, he's had 3 appearances in the past 2 shows. At college, I worked at Cracker Barrel in Tallahassee, Florida. I even gave my life to Christ in their parking lot. Their logo was iconic, and their unique restaurants were a fixture of American culture. No one asked for this woke rebrand. It's time to make Cracker Barrel great again. I thought it was a joke. End wokeness. Cracker Barrel CEO Julie Massino should face charges for this crime against humanity. Okay, they're showing the stock is down 17% in the last 5 days. Just phew. Amuse said, "Go woke, go broke." Cracker Barrel CEO Julie Fells Massino's decision to decolonize. Where'd that phrase come from, though? Did he come up with that, or did she say that? Decolonize the company, starting by removing the old-fashioned country gentleman, meant to evoke nostalgia and Americana from the logo. That is what I'm seeking. That's the explanation I'm seeking. That's well said. That's what it represents, and that's why people are like, huh? You're trying to delete the old-fashioned country gentleman meant to evoke nostalgia and Americana. And the stock is getting hammered, wiping out $250 million in value. Since Fells became CEO, the stock is down 34%, erasing $587 million in value. Is this Norman Rockwell? What is this from? This is shared by actual Democrats? Oh my God, did I accidentally? Oh my gosh, I shared a Democrats post. What is the context of this picture? What is the context of this image? And why do the Democrats think sharing it will help their image? I don't understand the context of this. But yeah, the Cracker Barrel rebrand does suck. One day, says Sandy Peterson, I'd like to see a logo redesign that made it look better instead of soulless and terrible. Can anyone give a counterexample? Go from that to that. Bleh. Go from Burger King to bleh. Go from Burberry to bleh. U.S. Attorney Alina Habba has revealed Senator Chuck Grassley, Republican of Iowa, is trying to block her confirmation in the Senate. Why on earth would he be obstructing a Trump nominee? Stand down. General Flynn says within the last 96 hours, there was a major cyber security attack on Ukraine, which revealed 1.7 million people have been killed in action since the war started under Biden. Just had to be that number. Oh boy. The 1 and the 7. Given a guitar, would Norman rock well? What's that song? Sometimes I feel like somebody's watching me. Who sang Sometimes It Feels Like Somebody's Watching Me? Is that Rockwell? Yeah, that was sung by Rockwell, released in 1984. Featuring backing vocals by Michael Jackson and Jermaine Jackson. I was right. Here's a clip from Sean Ryan. They're talking about how NASA lost the technology to get us to the moon. They lost the original tapes of the moon landing. And what you saw of Neil Armstrong stepping off the LEM was a projection on a wall filmed by TV cameras. When asked why we can't go back, NASA said, we can't replicate that technology. It's too difficult. But we didn't do it 17 times already. There's that number again. Then there's the Van Allen radiation belts in the South Atlantic anomaly. And suddenly in 1969, after Russia had its very first in space, we surpassed everything and landed on the moon. I go back and forth on whether it really happened, but every year more Americans don't believe it. Question of the day. We did not go to the moon. Do you agree or disagree that America did not go to the moon? Type it in the comments. Agree, we did not go to the moon, or disagree, we went to the moon. There he is, John Ned Flanders Bolton. Happy Friday, TNAM Brigade. All right. Yep, there you go. Appellate court threw out 500 plus. Yeah, so they're saying 500 plus $1 million. Maybe it was 464, but then they added all the penalties and they just kept tacking it up to 550. Every post I see has a different number on it. Always a witch hunt and a miscarriage of justice. Mike Davis says, look at this judge. Look at this judge. Greg Price says, I will never forget how disgusted I was at these two corrupt hacks. Smiled ear to ear as they weaponized the legal system to bankrupt the Republican nominee for president. I bet you they're not smiling anymore.
Changes now.
There we have the Attorney General, Letitia James, in the front row.
Okay, so as this starts to get changes now.
Oh, Fox was all too happy to go along with it and swap Trump for DeSantis. Never forget. Beef Initiative here says Ohio raw milk revolution is incoming. New bill HB 406 would legalize direct-to-farm to consumer raw milk sales. No more herd shares, no more middlemen, just clean local milk straight from the source. What do you think of that? Have you ever had that kind of milk? Raw milk? I don't know that I have. Have you had it? What's the difference? What's the benefits? Jacqueline Traynor, Democrat, Will County, Illinois board member, who struck a child with her car and avoided citations, have been charged with 3 counts of computer tampering. She allegedly hacked into the email accounts of fellow board members in order to access their email conversations. Oh. Democrat board member allegedly hits child with a car before driving off. Cited for failing to yield to the right of way. Yep, Sean Duffy, if you don't speak English, you cannot operate a 40-ton vehicle safely. I think what needs to happen immediately, I'm full of ideas. If someone could just take my ideas, clip my ideas out. Who do we propose this to? President Trump? How do we get this on his desk? Every truck should have to go to the weigh station in the next 72 hours and pass a proficiency. It'll take 5 minutes. Read English, speak English. Tell me what these road signs are. Here's a couple of things. Are you actually able to navigate this device, this tractor trailer? Okay, then you get the red sticker. Here, we'll put a barrier or put a border around your, then we'll know. Any truck that doesn't have that can't be on the road. Would we be okay with that? Could we support that? Could we handle that? Just get every trucker in immediate. Everyone. U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro authorized 20 JAG officers, there's a space in between there, to prosecute misdemeanors in D.C. JAG, Judge Advocate General. These are military prosecutors. The same Judge Advocate Generals that walked in side by side with President Trump during the 2017 inauguration. This has always been the plan. The only way is the military fully controlled, they say.
And we also found out, Jillian, just recently that U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro has authorized 20 JAG officers, military prosecutors, to prosecute misdemeanors here on the streets of D.C. as part of this surge. So you're seeing a lot of cooperation between the Pentagon with the National Guard, the FBI, which is under the Department of Justice. But that's notable. 20 JAG officials, which are military lawyers, being able to prosecute misdemeanors as part of this operation. Jillian.
All right. So there you go. All right. About the moon question. A lot of disagree. You did not go. I was there. You did not go to the moon, in my opinion, says John. Or says David. Oh, Ethereum's at a 52-week high. Is it at an all-time high, though? You know, that is one of the major frustrations with crypto. With a lot of people, the regrets that they have are often along the line of, I wish I bought more. I mean, my God, ETH is pumping right now. Yeah, that's clearly the best performer in my portfolio. I got one coin for $600. It's up 630%. Sitting at 48.20 right now. Yeah, it's like you just wish you had more. All right. Yeah, I need to set that up. That's another reminder. I'm going to jot down crypto donation wallet. I want to have a link. I don't know how to do it. I just don't know how to set up. I know how to set up like a PayPal and tell you my email address if anyone wants to toss something in the tip jar. I don't know how to do like a crypto thing. I don't know how to do that. I would like to know how to do that. I would love to do that. All right, let's continue in the stories. Ed Martin confirms he's been working with Tulsi Gabbard and promises the people involved in the grand conspiracy will be held accountable. So what is our... Well, let's just listen. No, here. What is our goal? One is to hold people that do things that are destructive and against the law accountable. I want to do that. We're going to do that. I promise you. President Trump has said we're going to get to the bottom of it. I'm also involved in the 2020 election and 2016 to get to the bottom of what happened. We're going to have grand juries. We're going to pull people in. It's the same people that were at the Russia hoax birthday party. It's the same people overlapping over and over again. And what Rudy Giuliani said once, when you put these people together and they're always working together, that's called an enterprise. That's called a criminal enterprise, and you're in a territory where everybody's held accountable for the whole of it. Let's effing go. Ed Martin is a national treasure. They tried to stop him, but they failed. Patrick Burns said, Ed is terrific, but he's wrong about one thing. The Russia hoax was not born in early December 2016. It was a cake that they began baking in February 2015. I can prove that. In early December 2016, they just decided it was ready to serve. Feedback on the Letitia James overruling.
And so President Trump, recognizing that this is really what they're doing, is they're coming after him to try to keep him from getting elected president again. That's what this is all about. I think he purposely and very appropriately made his voice heard. And as we look at this image of the judge, I've never seen anything more inappropriate in my life of this judge being, smiling like the cat that got the canary here, because his political wish has come true. So far for this case. But this is a legally baseless order that he has already entered. We know what he's going to do after the fact. It's going to be more legally baseless arguments and decisions from this judge that I am confident that at the end of the day will be reversed by the courts of appeal and what the previous. And so
she needs to go defend her job from being disbarred in front of the U.S. Court of 50. Rand Paul posts this, saying it's a buyer's market and nobody's buying. Where is Jerome Powell? It's yet another reason why the market, not the Fed, should set interest rates. Here's an update on the government pulling the business license of the, well, here, let's just listen to this. DeSantis and
California. We had an issue where you had an illegal alien truck driver that got a commercial driver's license in the state of California, employed by a California company, kill 3 people in Florida. This guy didn't even speak English. We're bringing him up on charges. He's going to face a lot. And I can announce, Jesse, that I said initially the company needs to be held accountable, and we've been working with the federal government, and they are pulling that company's license to do business because you cannot employ somebody who cannot read the road signs. California. We had an issue where you had an
Okay, Representative Claudia Tenney says Trump was forced to pay over $110,000 per day in interest on that unlawful bond. See, this would have destroyed a mere mortal. I don't worship at the altar of Trump, far be it. But I do recognize nobody else would have been able to survive this. Little Ronnie D, he's got a lot of nice sound bites and he's doing some good things in Florida. I get that. But when now I don't know what it would be like to have to pay off a porn star for silence. One of the many lawfare cases that they threw at President Trump. I was so angry at little Ronnie D turning on Trump instead of circling the wagons and protecting Trump. If they take Trump out, what do you think they'll do to you, Ronnie D? You don't have a war chest like that. What do you think they're going to do to you? Claudia Tenney says crooked Letitia James and Judge Engeron should both be disbarred and removed from office for malicious prosecution and abusive process. It appears POTUS has the right to file a civil rights claim under 42 U.S.C. 1983. Based Bandita says, congratulations to the newest CDL drivers out of California who completed certification without even speaking English or being citizens. What?
ਐਕਸਪੀਰੀਅੰਸ ਵੀ ਹੈਗਾ ਅੰਕਲ ਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਚੰਗੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਸਮਝਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਮਜ਼ਾਕ ਚ ਸਮਝਾ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਵਧੀਆ ਇਹ ਕੰਮ ਤੇ ਵੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਜੀ ਤੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਕੋਈ ਦਿਹਾੜੀ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਟੁੱਟੀ ਤੇ ਵਧੀਆ ਆਪਣਾ ਪਾਸ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਹੀ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਸੌਖੇ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਿੱਖਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਤਾਂ ਅੰਕਲ ਨਾਲ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਸੰਪਰਕ ਕਰੋ ਫਸਟ ਟਾਈਮ ਫ੍ਰੀ ਪਾਸ ਕਰੋ
Okay. Charlie Kirk says, this is why I disagree when people say we should just allow California and New York to fall into the hell of their own making. What happens in California doesn't stay in California. Illegals can drive 18-wheelers across the nation and kill Americans in every state. Rogue states must comply. Here's a clip on the gold standard since we're talking about it. Let's talk about
America's gold was supposed to back the dollar. Leaving the gold standard was the most costly mistake we ever made.
What was so bad about gold?
It kept them honest, but they wanted power. You know, kid, folks today think this is just how life's supposed to be.
What do you mean?
Back in my day, one job could feed a family. My mother stayed home.
Hold on. Wait. Shit, fuck. There's music in the background of this. This is killing my desire to deliver this show. It really is. The incidental orchestral piece behind the purpose of this video is going to make it so that I can't share it. Fuck, this is like, I want you to see this. Our money used to purchase stuff, and one person could raise a family of 6, and someone could stay home and raise the kids, and someone could go work, and everything was fine. And we've been robbed and robbed and robbed and robbed, and it's harder and harder and more impossible to get by. Fantastic. And I can't.
We ate together every night. Didn't realize.
I gotta. All right, go watch this. It's the history of gold. Fuck. I can't tell you how many videos that I've posted have copyright claims, and I got to dispute it. Some of them are approved and some of them are denied. And so it's just such a, nope. I know you just delivered us a robust program with so much information in there. It's just super valuable. But yeah, because you played a little clip that had some clip art music in the background, someone's going to file a claim on you and you can't distribute this to anywhere on earth. I can't do that. Yeah, all right. Bed Bath & Beyond's Marcus Lemonis tells Glenn Beck his views on Trump flipped after seeing White House efforts to deregulate business. He says, I was wrong. I feel very differently today than I used to. And that's not really an emotional reaction. It's just an intelligent reaction. Well, that's the pseudo apology you're looking for. Wes Harmon from the Reddit Truckers group says an account of yet another trucker taking US 129, the tail of the dragon, with a 53-inch trailer, despite repeated warnings in English for truckers to avoid this route. You'll never guess what sort of footwear he had on. I guessed Crocs. And on that note, go check out that video on the gold standard. We used to be a proper nation, and it used to be we'd go work a job and we could provide for a family. Now it's like, now the women are out working, disconnected from their family. They're making half of what they could because they've doubled the number of people in the workforce. So everybody's wages are cut in half. Women having to work was the beginning of division in the families, struggling to survive. Taking us off the gold standard in 71, 73, I think it was a major problem. 1913, get rid of the Federal Reserve and just bring us back some real money. Bring back gold and silver backed currency. Keep your play money. I mean, I get why people want fiat currency, but the reason they want it is the reason why we could never allow it. We should never allow it. The same reason they want it is exactly why we should not do it. Anyway, all the things, so many thoughts. Thank you all for being here today. All right, tomorrow, maybe not a show. Maybe not. If I do, it might be early. If I do, it might be later. And if I don't, let's plan on Monday. Maybe I'll do a segment Sunday, but trying to keep the Lord's Day holy and keep one day off. Just on general principle, trying to. Not saying I'm the best at it, but I'm trying. So it's a coin flip for tomorrow on a show. Keep your eyes peeled. If you can, grab a device or go to your desktop. And or grab an old laptop or a tablet or an old cell phone and go to the New American Media on YouTube and watch some videos. Let some hours accumulate. Every hour with at least one clicked up on the volume, so it's a valid play. I don't know if it makes a difference, but I think it makes a difference. That's a penny in the wishing well. I need 400 and something pennies, and we can get super chats added to our YouTube channel, I think. I thought it was advertising, but either way, I'm just trying to get it. So please consider doing that. All of our donation links are at the bottom, and follow the New American Media in all of the places. Thank you so much for being here. We'll unpack more of the news next time. Until then, I appreciate you. I love you. And we will talk again soon. Take care, everybody. I can't do it. I tried to do a Tucker laugh. I don't know if I can hit the high register right now. I think I've worn out that part of my voice, or something like that. I'll work on my Tucker laugh next time. All right. Till next time. Talk to you later. Peace.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.